Welcome back, you pecans and pistachios. This is game 5 of this wonderful Lone Star Open. I'm Adam Camilleri, once again joined by the intrepid and incomparable Dustin Henshaw. Hello, my brother.
Intrepid and incomparable. I love it, man. You are awesome. Thank you for having me again. Exciting games that we're going to be watching this round 5 right now. I am so excited for these matches.
We have we have gone straight into top gear for the remainder of this event. We are calling table 1 and table 2. That is our 4 top placed people at this event. And table 2 might not what be you expect. That's going to be our crazy YouTube thumbnail with me going and making some ridiculous face. God, I hate those things so much. But that would be what it is. Table 2 is not what you think it will be. Because we have a Necron player on table 2 playing against a Drukhari player who's playing a really wonky list, and I love it.
Yeah, I actually really like this list too. It's not something you normally see with a Drukhari, but it's been doing really well, and I see why. It's very MSU style. So
yeah, really nice. And onto our table 1, we have, two guys swinging for the absolute fences. Mr. Sean Naden playing Mr. Brown Townsend. And if I didn't mention it before, it's Mr. Marshall Peterson playing Nathan Fennell on our table 2. Or Nathan Fennell, however you want to pronounce it.
Fennell, I think it's Fennell.
Yeah. If it was British, it would be Fennell. But of course,
sure. Well, we can say Fennell, and we'll just call him British for today.
That was like 250 years ago, Adam. Get with the times. And we're really excited to bring you guys this top table. Hope you guys have been enjoying the coverage so far. Me and Dustin have been sitting in this hot seat for one game, so and I think we're going to hit our stride. And the boys in the production team, like Val and Richard, are pulling out all the stops. We've got these dice camps set up now. They're only getting more and more things together, more and more pieces of this puzzle combined to make this full, wholehearted, and satisfying viewing experience for you guys, hopefully.
Yeah, this is what we're looking for. We want to be able to see these games in high quality, high def, with all the zooms, all the dice games.
We're actually going to be at the end of any game. It's not just games. It's not going to do anything to you right now.
Absolutely. So this is the top table right now, isn't it? We are looking at Mr. Sean Naden versus
my homeboys croak.
You want to tell us, pick a list if you want. If you have either of those lists up, or if you're not able to, I'll jump in through
I'm not smart ass. I'm like stupid ass. I ask a lot of dumb questions to see what you say.
Pause for us. Table mics on, guys.
Okay, well, I'll wait for a second for that to go.
Well, table mic, maybe. Some people said, is the camera mic still on? We're still getting some audio from the venue?
Second phase.
We got it?
We got it, guys.
We
Sorted.
did it. Look at Sorted. That. If in IT, that would be a record timing of a ticket being solved. So I'm really impressed with Mr. Val right now. That was great. Thanks a lot, sir. I will go through Naden's list now. That I am so excited. I love going through his list because his lists are so wonky, so crafty, and it is just his style, and I love it. So he has a spirit attachment of his regular craft worlds, and that is going to be expert crafters and masterful shots. So we are going to be ignoring all of the cover because we don't like cover, and you'll be rerolling 1 wound and 1 hit because that's just awesome to do. He's got an Autarch Skyrunner with a laser lance, a Fireseer Skyrunner with Guide Doom and Slinging Spear. He's also got a unit of 9 Shadow Specters, a unit of 5 Shadow Specters, a unit of 3 Shining Spears, 4, sorry, 3 with an Exarch, and another unit of 5 Swooping Hawks. And in the heavy support, he's got his standard triple Dark Reapers with 2 Dark Reapers and 1 Exarch with the Tempest Launcher. All of them have long range fire because it looks like he's building this list to go a little bit teching towards the Admech, which is fortunate for him for this matchup because usually you'll see them do the Exarch power for re-rolling the number of shots, but I guess he's expecting to be able to get full shots against a lot of things he's going to be using this against anyway, so it makes perfect sense. Just give him a little bit extra range, keep him safe, and keep him secret. Then he also has a Night Spinner and a triple support weapon of Shadow Weavers, which could be good for while we stand we fight, or sorry, to the last now, as it's called.
To the last. Yeah,
of course. And then to top it all off, he has a patrol detachment of Soaring Spite Harlequins. So he's got the Troop Master. It is the Fang Master because he got the Twilight Fang. He is the Warlord as well. and he is going to be having 2 units of pure fusion and Harlequin embrace. Oh, looks like one's got a caress in there too of troops, and a second one with all fusion and 3 caresses, 3 embrace. Oh, he's got a 6-man though. Sorry,
Spicy.
so it's a 5-man and a 6-man, and of course he's got a Death Jester too. That's why he left one of them as a 5-man as well, so we can kind of travel around, shoot with them too, and 2 Starvers to boat them around in. What do you think of that list, Adam?
I think this is a genius list for this meta. It's really clear what he's hunting. He's like he's teched so heavily into hunting these big admech blocks. Usually we see him take the rapid shot on his Exarch, and so the extra shots on the 3-mans, and he's gone straight into the Tempest launches because they are freaking money against these 20-man blocks of infantry. And dude, the list he's playing against right now is the reason he bought this list. Is the reason he built this list. So it's going to be super exciting to see if it actually pays out the way he intended it to. This is his game. This is his game. This is the reason. This is the reason his list exists. He probably spent many nights, patting his new baby on the back, trying to figure out how he's going to actually have a game against Admech, and this is what he's cooked up.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I love about Naden. You look at the list that he makes, and you just know this is a guy that microwaves his toaster strudels. He reads the instructions on the box and goes, "Nah, I can do this better." He may burn his mouth sometimes, but he's never hungry.
Never hungry. I love it. It's a great take. But yeah, it looks like he's and on top of that, on top of getting the matchup that he's kind of wanted this kind of skew for, he has gone first in this game. We have seen all the scout moves coming out for his opponent. And I'm going to quickly dive down his list for us. Then we'll get some hot takes from our good man, Mr. Henshaw. He's got a single battalion detachment of Lucius. He starts off with your ubiquitous Skitarii Marshal, 45 points of absurdity there for the value. 2 Manipuluses, the next, the part of the trio that you always take. A unit of 19 Rangers, 18 Rangers, 19 Rangers, 18 Vanguard. So there's the blocks. Those 4 units is the reason Sean Naden's, like 2/3 of Sean Naden's units are what they are. To round it out, he has 10 Corpuscari, a single unit of 5 Infiltrators, 2 units of 5 Ruststalkers, a unit of 2 Ballistari. Get this, both with autocannons, and not a single las cannon in this list, which is a bit of a head scratcher at times. But must be doing well for him. He's 4-0. He's got 8 sterilizers, 8 Cerberus Raiders, and 2 Disintegrators. So it's a bit of a no line of sight shooting theme across both these armies. But what do you make of this list?
I really like the list. The blocks of 3 Rangers and the Vanguards, those are almost auto includes now at least 2 squads of Rangers for sure, and the 1 squad of Vanguard. The 3 Rangers, I actually like doubling down a little bit more on the Ranger squads because they are just so versatile, so strong, so tough if you add them up. They're the winning part of your list as well. The Disintegrators we don't actually see as much anymore because their profile did change a little bit in the Codex, so it made them a little bit worse than they were before, but they're still strong out of line of sight shooting. And I think the only out of line of sight shooting that the AdMech have at the disposal now. So it makes sense to still have a few of them in here because out of line of sight shooting is it's so strong. And he's going to need it against all of the out of LOS shooting that Sean Naden has.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, how big a deal is Sean going first in this matchup, which he's obviously done? And I was measuring I saw early on in the game what I thought to be I assumed it was his sterilizers. Scout moved up. They were up almost on the line, possibly going to be the thing that he used if he went first. Now, the only reason I think they may not be dead is because I saw all of them get picked up in one go. It's very unlikely that Sean, you would have had to roll the 12 on his Night Spinner in order to do that in one go. And so possibly they're in reserve, and we've gone into the bottom of turn 1 already. If that's the case, I haven't seen a huge swathe of damage done here, but I have seen a lot of these 20-mans look like they're slightly compromised on their unit number. We have 1 unit right at the end of the battle, at the end of the table, on the left-hand side. I'll just give you a quick rundown. From the back of the board, we have 1 unit of Skitarii. They're most likely going to be sitting back there, and then they'll get solar flared up into relevance later in the game, which is a very good use of them by Mr. What's his surname? Sorry, is this Mr. Thompson?
It is
Townsend. Apologies. Yeah, they're going to sit at the back of the board, and they're going to sit out of range of most of these batteries that are all 14-inch range, and then he's going to move them up into relevance later in the game. I think it's a very good choice by him. To the right of them, directly, there's a 2 Belarus cannon disintegrators, and to the right of them, we have a menagerie of units inside that. I think there's another 20-man inside that big square ruin in the Skitarii deployment zone with a couple of characters. I see 2 Manipulus is there at a minimum, and then the Marshal's probably somewhere else. Below them, we have a block of 20 guys with 5 what looks to be Rust Stalkers, and above them, we have a block of 20 guys, which looks significantly compromised. That one looks like it's taken the most hits, possibly at about half strength or 2/3 strength, and above them, none of the 5 guys. Directly in front, and the thing most influential on the board right now is a unit of 8 Cerberus Raiders, which have scouted right into the middle of the table. I'm interested to see if they go deep and try and tap a bunch of these batteries, just to possibly shut them down for a turn or two.
Yeah, shutting those out will actually be a big deal because you can only really fall back and shoot with one of those units now with the stratagems, because Fly is not what it used to be.
Exactly right.
And it is extremely important to kind of shut up all of his shooting, because him going first is actually a big deal because it's before he'll get any of the buffs off on any of the Ranger squads. Now, mind you, the buffs won't be as helpful for him because Naden can just shoot one of the ones that isn't buffed right now. So keeping the one, as you were saying before, keeping the one in the back is the perfect way to make sure that one doesn't get hit by all the long range shooting, and then he can just solar flare it up, which is the perfect way to use that one, and then put one of the buffs on each of the other 2 Ranger squads, so that way they're still going to get at least some sort of defensive buff to make sure they're not just getting wiped out by Sean's incredible shooting he has in his list.
Exactly right. Quick call of the deployment for Mr. Naden. Right at the top of the table, we see what appears to be his unit of Shining Spears with at least one of his Skyweaver characters. In addition to that, he has a Starweaver there with, at least one unit of Harlequins inside, possibly the Troop Master, we don't know. Directly below that, we have the second Starweaver with another unit of Troop, as you'd assume. Below that, we have the Bunker. We have all his real influence, all his damage dealing, especially from this back on the table. We see the Night Spinner right in the battle that is encased in his Shadow Weavers, and then to the bottom of those, we see some of these Shadow Spectres. Tell us the story there, man. What has he taken these for? What do they do? Why should they be respected?
The Shadow Spectres?
Yeah.
The Shadow Spectres are actually another unit that's going to be really good at taking out these Ranger Blobs too, because they have D6 blast weapons as well. And getting max shots with these things, it will just be devastating. Not only that, they are the perfect unit for when he solar flares, because they'll be able to Auspex scan. It's not Auspex scan, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the intercept. I looked at that and I thought, firstly, they're a great another tech choice for that blast, getting those auto 6 shots. He's got a unit of 8 of them. What is that? What's 8 times 6? I think it's in the 40s. I'm so bad at math. I don't know. I don't know my times tables, but that's a fun bucket of shots. If he was to translocate with that solar flare into range of them, they just get to smash that unit down for free.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I could be wrong. They actually might be D3 shots now, but I thought they were D6 on the
Yeah, no, they're D6.
I was right.
Assault D6.
I'm not listening to that.
Yeah, I think it's Assault D6, 18-inch, strength 5, -1 damage, and then their other profile is 24-inch, strength 6, -3 damage. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe it is. That's the 3 damage will be good for killing some of the bigger stuff, or even actually the Raiders will be really good at killing.
Yeah, it's actually quite good at the Raiders, isn't it?
It's actually perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. Same can be said for his Infiltrators and his Rust Stalkers. He has got 3 units of those. I'm assuming the Taraxi are off the table and they didn't just get picked up in one big old handful. I'm gonna let you have a little bit of a talk about where you think this game is at, and please run us down the secondaries, which have just been lovingly updated by our team. I'm going to count some of these units and see if what's taken some significant damage.
Wonderful. All right, I'm going to start with these secondaries because I like going through the secondaries and kind of talking about what they're going to be planning on doing. So it looks like Sean has taken no prisoners, engage on all fronts, and retrieve Octarius data. Now that no prisoners, that makes perfect sense with the amount of infantry that are on the table. He'll just be he needs to kill those Rangers and the Vanguard to even do anything to win this game anyway. So that's a flat 80 points, or sorry, 80. So 8 points that he'll be wanting to get either way. Engage on all fronts. His list is mobile. It's MSU. It's easy for him. He's already moving that Star Weaver up to get at least 2 points this turn. And he wants to be at least a little bit aggressive, not over aggressive. So he doesn't actually have to cross over, but when he wants to start contesting those objectives, engaging up front just makes sense because he's going to be getting the points regardless anyway. And he has so many different infantry in his army. Octarius that makes perfect sense as well. He'll just easily be able to get a 4, most likely be able to get an 8 without too much trouble. And if he is managed to clear enough of the Rangers and Vanguard out, getting 12 is not out of his reach either. So it's actually some really good secondaries. Sean, obviously a very intelligent player. He knows what he's doing with this. He picked the right secondaries for this. And Brad has taken Eradication to Flesh. And that's one of the AdMech specialty ones. And I actually really like this one too. It makes a lot of sense because it's the one, I believe that's the one that you get the 3 points if you kill more infantry than they killed of your vehicles. Correct? I believe that's correct. Yep. Yeah, which is really, really spicy and dirty even to do, because the only vehicles he really has are the 2 disintegrators and the ballistari, and
Exactly right.
they're not easy to take down. So as long as he kills like 1 infantry unit, he's likely going to get 3 points every. It's a better grind it down for Adam.
Exactly right it is for this game. And if you don't know where the Ballistari are, guys, look in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen right now behind that ruin. That is where they are. They're probably going to be staying there for the majority of this game. If they come out, it's probably just going to be to pop down and try and gun down things like Starweavers. I'm interested that it's quizzical to me that Sean is getting so active so early in this game. I thought he'd be a lot more patient, just let his Shadow Weavers, his no line of sight shooting, take a toll on all these blobs before he comes out at all. I think is he exposing himself too early? This might be an over commitment. I do want people to know that the Fangmaster, that what it was in the top Star Weaver, has been deployed. If everyone wants to have a quick look at the top left-hand objective, just diagonally up in front of the Ranger unit, there is a Harlequin model there. He's going to be going into that unit, probably killing about half of it by himself. And then he's got the Harlequin troop lined up to shoot their fusion pistols and the shuriken cannons into the Ruststalkers above that model.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you that aren't aware, he did have the Warlord trait to be able to get out after the model, after the Star Weaver moved in advance. So that's how he got so far up there, and it looks like he's going in there specifically to do the damage he wants to do right away. Now, to answer your question before, is he going out a little too early? It looks like that looks like just the 8-man Spectre squad, I think.
It is,
I don't think it's more. Yeah, so it's just the 8-man. It looks like he's trying to get in range of both the Raiders and potentially the Rangers over on his other objective there. He wants to try to keep him down to a 10 at the very least, I think. And between all that shooting, he should be able to do it. I don't know if he wants to go that hard in with them, but because he has so much other shooting, and he can fire and fade them afterwards if he needs to get them a little bit further back. And they're also touching cover, so they're going to have a nice 2-up save. They're natural -1 to hit.
So people think he's going to go backwards with his fire and fade. I'm going to tell you he's going to be going forwards with his fire and fade. He's going to go diagonally up to the left to go and be just below that Star Weaver.
Yep, you'll go over there. You'll be out of line of sight of a lot of them and out of range of the ones down there potentially, unless he uses the rapid fire to make it a assault. But either way,
so he's calling his shot right here. He's putting a heavy investment of units up into the top portion of the top flank of what's Mr. Townsend's AdMech force, which makes me think all the fire is going to go into the middle squad and the bottom squads. He's going to pretty much not shoot a single gun apart from what's up there being the Harlequin portions into anything at the top of the table. So really, Sean's in a good position to do a lot of decimation. And this makes me think this is Sean's turn 1. This was the start of the game.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I did a quick count of the models, and he hasn't lost any models yet for Mr. Townsend. So this is the top of 1.
Yeah, so this is the start of the game. We came at a good time. Perfect timing, guys.
We did, but it's also a good time if we want to jump to our table 2 and give you guys a quick call. We might be able to come back and catch the majority of this shooting phase anyway, because we've still got a bit of movement to do. So can we get a switch to the next table? Production team, hit that transition.
Hit that enhance.
Enhance.
There we go.
There we go. Wonderful. Nice. All right, my dude. Who are we seeing here?
We are looking at Marshall Peterson and Nathan Fennell here. So we're looking at Necrons versus Drukhari. And they're two actually a little, I'm going to call them wonky lists.
For all the Necrons players out there, we have a 4-0 Necron lad on this table, and he's doing fan-freaking-tastic. His army is a little bit off-center, is a little bit not exactly what you'd think to take, but it's performing extremely well, and he knows exactly what he's doing with it. His opponent, Mr. Fennell, has taken a real wonky, real off the beaten path list. We'll run down that one in a minute, but he's doing the same. This is 2 off-meta armies, both at 4-0. I'm so happy to see him. So happy to see him on table 2. It's doing great.
Yeah, this is table 2 that these wonky armies are at. That is so exciting to see. And it's a Necron army too. The Necron army you didn't expect to see, let alone Necrons in general.
Exactly right, dude. I'll quickly run down Mr. Which one should I do?
Ooh, which one do you?
I'll do the Necron list. I'll do.
Okay, you do the Necron lists.
Yeah. I'll do Mr. Peterson's. I believe it's Mr. Peterson on the Necron. Fennell's on. Yeah. He starts off with a Eternal Conquerors battalion. It's a single detachment. He has a Canoptic Plasma Sight, which tell you he has some Scorpex. Then he has a Locust Lord with refined ability, the Void Reaper, and a Resorb. So he is an Honorable Combatant. So he's extra slappy. Then he has an Overlord. He has the Hand of the Pharaon and an Orb of Eternity. So that's 2 Resorbs. And then he has a Wall of Trade for Implacable Conqueror aura as well, and a War Scythe. Then he has a Technomancer with the Canoptic Cloak and the Veil of Darkness, because why would you ever leave it at home? Then he has a really interesting set of troops choices. He has a 5-man unit of Immortals, a 9-man unit of Immortals, a 9-man unit of Immortals, and another 5-man. So that's 2 5-mans, 2 9-mans, all with Gorse. Then he has 2 Crypto Thralls, two units of 9 Sword and Board Lich Guard. That's 2 times 9. Then he has 1 unit of 6 Scorpec Destroyers, as we thought he would. 2 Reap Blades, of course. A Transcendent Catan with Cosmic Tyrant as his fractured personality. And then we have 3 times 3 Scarabs, and that's the list. It's a tidy little package. It slaps in combat. It doesn't have great shooting, so I'm assuming this is going to be an aggressive style of army. But man, I'm really happy to see this one. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually really like this one. We see the dynastic tradition. We only see Eternal Conquerors, but I'm assuming he has both the entire army obsec and the pregame move, especially since this is such a heavy close combat list. And it, like you said, it slaps in close combat. If you look at this list, you'll think, it doesn't do that much damage. But no, if they get into you, they will rip you apart. These guys actually do a lot of damage.
Exactly right. Yeah, spot on. Interesting to see where he's moved most of his models. I'm looking at his table right now. Bottom of the board, I am seeing a unit of what I believe to be 9 Immortals in the bottom right-hand corner. I think that's in a forest. And then above them, looks like we've got a unit of Lich Guard with a couple of characters and the Catan. Up to the right of them, looks like another unit of Immortals behind that large ruin in his deployment zone. Above them, we've got this unit on a really big base. I'm not quite sure what that is.
That's the Destroyers, I believe.
The Scorpec Destroyers.
Oh, the one unit.
The one huge dude on top of the ruin. I might be a Scorpec Lord. He might have a spicy conversion out of one of the new heavy Locust Destroyers, which would be sick. Those guys are chunk and look amazing. In front of them, I think you're right, we do have the Scorpec Destroyers with the Plasma Sight. That's the right number of bases to be that. And then behind them, we have another unit of Lich Guard, I believe. So there is some Immortals I can't account for yet that could be inside buildings or under overhangs. We can't quite see. And then we use I can't see 2 units of Scarabs. I can see 1 unit of Scarabs at the bottom of the table behind that big old crate on the bottom right-hand objective. But apart from that, the rest are probably in overhangs.
Yeah, probably. I don't think he needs to be too aggressive with them right now.
Yeah, agreed. Tell us what this Drukhari list has got in it, because man, it is spicy.
Oh yeah, this Drukhari list is actually awesome. I love this. So he's got we're starting off with, it is a patrol detachment. It is Cult of Red Grief. So he has Drazar in that one. He also has a Succubus with the Triptych Whip, so she's going to have 1 million attacks, because that's what Triptych Whip does. He also has 3 groups. Looks like they're all identical. 3 groups of 5 witches. And I don't think they have no special weapons there. They're all just Hecatari blades and plasma grenades. So they're just stock, just lots of attacks. And because they're the Cult of Red Grief, they will be able to get out, attack, and get back into a transport if they want to. They can do this before they get attacked as well, which is a big deal. We also got 5 Incubi in there when the Clavix has Demiclaves, and 2 Raiders, so they can get back in there. So that's why he'll be able to have all of them into those transports, which actually helps a lot. The Succubus will be able to fit in them too, now that Raiders are 11 transport capacity because Dark Eldar. And then we move into the Custom Cabal. This one's a little interesting. So he has a Custom Cabal with Merciless Razorkin and Mobile Raiders. I had to look these up because I wasn't sure what they did. I wasn't actually sure. So Merciless Razorkin is basically exploding 6s on splinter weapons, and the Mobile Raiders is an additional 2-inch move on anything that flies. So if you look at the detachment here, he's got an Archon in here. He's got another Succubus. The Succubus has the Animus Vitae, and he also has another 3 groups of stock witches, 5-man stock witches, and another 5 Incubi, and another 5 Incubi.
But then
there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Venoms. And this is why he has that buff. Because every single one of these Venoms is now moving 18 inches, and they're exploding 6s on all of their guns. Now, he didn't have the points to upgrade to both splinter cannons. I think if he was going really hard into it, that would have been a good idea, but he didn't need to because they already have enough shots in there, and they're moving fast enough. They're always going to be in rapid fire, basically. There is also, I should mention, there are 5 Scourge in there as well, but they are also just stock. He didn't get, they're just all Shard Carbine.
Action monkeys.
And there's another detachment. It's Cult of Strife. Cult of Strife. Another Succubus, and another 5 witches. So there are, let me count this out.
9 units of witches.
15. There are 45 witches, 15
Yeah.
incubi, 8 venoms, and 2 raiders, and then a couple of killy characters. This
It's
list is awesome.
crazy. This list is awesome, and this is something people should look into because remember what? So this Drakari used to be the army that did well before their codex because they just got points. They just got points. This guy has stuck with
MSU.
This guy is stuck with that motif, but the fact of the matter is Drakari just kill stuff by existing now as well. They're just killy. So why leave that mode of thought is what I think he's getting at. It's like, I'm just going to get a bunch of points. You can be better than me. You can be fantastic. I'm just going to get points. And when I need to kill you, I can. And yeah, I think what we're seeing here as well is that the Mr. Fennel has gone first. What I can see is a bit of a shuffle move up from the expansionist portion of the Necrons, and then this guy has no chill. He's going straight in. We see charges lined up against the Scorpex already. I'm hoping those are Incubi and not just witches going into the Scorpex, or else he's in for a bad time. Looks like he's got a couple of raiders coming down the left-hand side of screen for us, which would be along the bottom of screen for you guys if we were looking at the Dawn of War view. They're going to go straight in and start tapping these Immortals at the bottom. Realistically, outside the Catan, the Immortals are the only thing that are going to pop Venoms, and this is going to in shooting, this is going to be really hard for this Necron player. I feel like the Necron is in the back foot, especially now that they're going second, just simply because the army that he has is not great at demeching. He's going to really struggle to demech this army.
Yeah, for sure. The transports of the Drakari are actually gonna be a real problem for this Necron player because of the lack of shooting. Like, he can kill everything in his army in close combat, but he has to get the can opener out first, and he doesn't have many options to do that with. And because these Venoms are moving even faster than they normally would, he doesn't have to overcommit them. He doesn't have to commit the guys inside either, because realistically speaking, the witches get a lot of attacks, but it's still hard for them to get through the Lich Guard, and especially the destroyers.
Well, so what's really good for the Necron player in this game is that the only thing that's ever going to slap down a whole one of his bigger units is going to be Incubi in combat. Outside them, Venoms you shoot a Venom, you kill 2 Lich Guard, 1 comes back. You shoot a Venom, kill 2 Lich Guard, 1 comes back. And so that's the kind of going to be the tail of this game for him. The issue is the scoreboard, I feel like, is just going to be one-way traffic, just because this guy can just run around him, spread out, take all the objectives, get all the secondary points. What he needs to do, what 100% Necron player needs to do, is get enough influence and just win this primary. Just freaking win the primary. Do whatever you got to do, scratch, claw, scream, go nuts and win the primary, because you're not going to win the secondary battle.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the things he really needs to be careful about, he should never, okay, I'm not going to say never, but he should almost never be charging the transports that are full of these guys, because if he kills the transport in melee, he now has nothing to stop him from taking that objective away from the objective guys.
Exactly right.
Inside.
And this is exactly why I think the turn 1, I think all the Immortals are getting targeted. You see a unit of 9 Immortals at the bottom of the table. 2 Venoms are bearing down on them right now. And then in the bottom right-hand objective, we see a unit of Witches get out, and they're just going to sit there. There's a unit of Scarabs on the other side. Oh, cool. It's 3 bases to 5 bases. Cool. Just going to sit. Don't care. The secondaries for Mr. Marshall playing the Necrons, he has Grind Them Down, Retrieve Octarius Data, Purge the Vermin. I think they make a lot of sense with the exception of Purge the Vermin. Purge the Vermin is keeping them out of your table quarters. It's going to be freaking incredibly hard for you to do that, mate.
The Vermin, I think, is a mistake, because
I think it's a mistake.
He has so much MSU and it is so fast. And he doesn't have enough shooting just to kick them out. Like, it's almost forcing him to be able to charge those guys, but he has to pop them first. He could, Nathan will be able to just throw a Venom into a quarter, and it's very hard for Marshall to be able to take him out of that quarter.
Spot on, brother. That's my thoughts as well. Apart from that, Octavius Data and Grind Them Down both make a lot of sense. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get a great score on Grind Them Down.
Oh, for sure.
But jumping down to Nathan's Mr. Fennels, he has To the Last. And I'll give you a moment. If you're willing to go and have a look at what his To the Last are, I'd really love to know. He also has Retrieval Data and Heard the Prey. See, he's taken Heard the Prey, and his opponent's taken Purge the Vermin. One of them's going to be really unhappy. I'm putting my money on
really
Mr.
sad
Marshall.
at the end of this game.
I'm putting my money on Mr.
Really
Marshall
sad.
being unhappy about that one.
So with the Drakari doing To the Last, Drazar is obviously going to be one of them. He always is, because that. I think it's actually the Raiders.
I was about to say it's probably the Raiders, and I think that because of where he's deployed them more than anything else. That's what
it's 100% the Raiders. It's the 2 Raiders and Drazar. So if he just keeps those safe, because like we've been saying this whole time, the shooting on the Necron side is actually very lackluster. So keeping those Raiders safe, that's going to be an easy 15 points for him. It just means he doesn't use Drazar, which is unfortunate, because Drazar is one of these guys that is really good at clearing out those combat units for them. But it's also risky because of the invulns they have and the durability they have. He has enough Incubi he can do that with. Saving Drazar as more of a countercharge in an emergency to get those 15 points, I think it's a much better play. I think that's actually a really good pick for him.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. And look, realistically, the only impetus he has for to even interact with the Necron models is to get Herd the prey points, and he's already doing that. You see, look at his deployment, yeah? So he has his Raider, one of his, to the last Raiders, is off the table, by the way. I can only see one Raider on the board, so the other one's off the table, and I'm assuming the one that's on the table is freaking empty. Directly above them, you have a unit of 5 guys zoning. Directly below them, a unit of 5 guys zoning. He's stopping him from putting anything back there with the Veil of Darkness to deny his Purge the Vermin.
Yeah, it is just genius play. That's the bonus of all these massive movement MSU units. They just throw these venoms around. He can even empty it out beforehand, throw it away, and now it's getting him deny points for getting board control for nothing.
Yep. And damaging his opponent's ability to interact. See what's just happened? At the top right-hand corner, a Venom has tapped into a unit of Immortals. It's exactly the same thing's going to happen in the bottom right-hand corner as well. And man, so that just means he's forcing his opponent's hand. He's going to have to put melee assets to clearing Venoms.
That's exactly what he doesn't want to do.
That aren't on objectives? Like, yikes. Yeah. Well done, Mr. Nathan.
That is just brilliant, because not only does he have to get rid of those things for points, he doesn't want to, and it takes away all of his killing power to kill the things that are on objectives, because these are still worth points for Marshall. He has to kill them, because if he doesn't, he's not getting his Purge of Vermin points. And it's the same thing with engage on all fronts. It's the same thing. If you miss any turn, you're not getting those points back.
Well, if you have a look at what's happened in this shooting phase, this was like a non-event shooting phase. So that's really well done by Marshall. He's taken literally no significant damage in his turn 1, because all he's done is saying, okay, cool, if you want to shoot me, you're going to shoot Lich Guard. Yeah. And I'm going to get 2+ saves because I'm in cover, and you're not going to do a damn thing because I'm just going to res him. And so Marshall's Nathan's just been like, well, I'm just not going to invest there. That's just a waste of time, your time, my time. We are on the clock as well, and he's just diving straight into combat with all these what could be empty Venoms. We're going to transition back to our other game and get a quick call there, because this one looks like it's well underway. Really want to see what Nathan has done with his shooting phase turn 1, and whether those fire and fades have come to fruition as I thought they may.
Yeah,
let's hit that transition. Right. Yeah, let's see whose cuisine will reign supreme.
I hope we're going back here, and there's still going to be a lot of AdMech on the table, though. I don't want to have what happened with with Frankie's game earlier.
Oh, we missed all the action. Yeah,
missed all the action.
It just happens, you know. We got caught up calling a game. Things occur. You know, it is what it is. I do believe our production team has stepped away for a minute. That's a shame. Back to the game.
Back to the game. All right, well, let's see. The Venoms still, they can still kill some things in close combat as well.
Yeah, they've all got 3 attacks each at strength 5, -1 damage. He's got Blade Veins on literally all of them, which is quite interesting. Looks like we have seen a couple of Immortals die, and then with the Resurrection, he's trying to use them to get distance. Because what I believe he wants to do is fall them back onto his objective where the Scarabs are. The Scarabs will move around. Looks like a Scarab base has died, by the way, so that's probably what the Venoms were shooting at the bottom of the board. He's picked up one.
He definitely doesn't want to shoot at the Immortals. The Immortals coming back, he'll be able to take that objective away from him if they resurrect and come back on there. So it was a smart move to shoot the Scarabs instead, for sure.
Yep, spot on. I'm wondering if his hand's going to be forced to use the Veil of Darkness to try and get one of these out in order to actually have a shooting phase. But as it is, I don't think he should. I really don't think he should. I'm happy to see that he has got at least two killer characters. He's got he's got a Void Scythe on the Super Void Scythe on the Destroyer Lord, and then he's got a War Scythe on his Overlord. Both of those can account for a Venom in combat, which is what might be what he needs to do to clear these backfield ones, because he needs to actually get a motor on and push his stuff up the table. You can't sit back. You there, mate? I cannot hear you.
Oh, sorry. I'm back.
There you go.
we got this now. I had to cough. Sorry. Anyway, it's a good play on his part, because the good news about the Venoms being so far into his back line is because he actually can put some resources that he wouldn't normally need to put into them, like the characters that wouldn't be going too far forward. He wants to keep them kind of in reserve and not be too aggressive with them. So he can still kind of clear those out without committing too much to them, hopefully, and still manage to take back his objectives and hopefully protect himself from the same thing happening again next turn. Like maybe moving the Immortals up a little bit just in case they do get shot, putting a little bit more objective secure on there, so another 5-man Witch Squad sitting on there just doesn't take it away from him again.
Agreed. Looks like we have the production boys back. Can we get a transition back over to the Naden game, please? That'd be greatly appreciated. But yeah, this one's going to be really interesting. It looks like the Scorpex have taken a bit of fire, but they're still looking pretty intact and healthy. That's really good news for him. He wants those Scorpex way, way, way up the board. Get them as relevant as possible. Their -1 to wound is going to be significant as well versus all the plasma shots. Sorry, no, the venom shots. Um, all right, look, let's see what's happened here. That whole
Oh my god!
whole unit of Cerberus Raiders and everything at the top left, the top of the table is deleted, and that's exactly
Just
what I thought was going to
deleted.
happen.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't fire and fade them up there though. He might even fire and faded them back.
He may. I don't even think he bothered. I think he was quite happy with them where they were. They were they're sitting on that objective. His opponent has a lot of decisions to make. He's got compromised units here, there, and everywhere, and this shows the sheer power of the profiles that Sean's bringing to bear. Looks like he's killed around 40 infantry this turn, 5 of which were infiltrators, and then like at least eight Cerberus Raiders and a block of 20, and then he's compromised another block of 20 down to 6 dudes remaining.
Yeah,
that is pretty fearsome stuff.
That is devastating.
2 more shooting phases, and there won't be an infantry model on the table. It'll just be Brad's tanks versus Sean's everything. So Brad really needs to go on his bike and start clearing these objectives. What you want to do versus Sean's list is pick up everything that's not one of line of sight shooting pieces, because then as soon as he's down to those, Sean can't play the objectives.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to start clearing out some of the infantry out here. He has to get rid of those Shadow Specters. Those Shadow Specters are devastating. The problem is too, though, the Reapers, the Tempest Launcher, the way he built them in there, they're going to take out those 20-man squads. So he can't really protect those 20-man squads from Sean's list to begin with. So it's not that surprising that they went down, but now he needs to start taking out the forward pressure so he can actually hold his objectives and not worry too much about just getting shot off them every single turn.
Exactly right. Looks like we could already be into Sean's turn 2, because we've already had a scoring round for Brad. How's Brad scored if Sean went first? Maybe the boys were incorrect when they told us Sean went first, because Brad scored and engaged in all fronts already. And I assumed we'd be going into the bottom of turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like Sean's measuring up again. So maybe this is top of turn 2?
Maybe it is. Maybe he just yeah, well, look, the way Sean deployed, there was very little fire he was going to take. There's very little fire he was going to take. In fact, I would have been surprised if Sean wanted to go second with the way he was able to deploy. The shooting phase for the AdMech that turn would have just been shooting their Belarus cannons, and that would have been just about it.
Yeah, I mean the Rangers there might have a couple of shots in the Shadow Specters, maybe, but not much.
Yeah, that's totally fair. So the scores have been updated for Sean's turn 1. So just checking with the booth, are you 100% sure Sean went first?
And this is top of 2 then, because is Sean going out? Because Brad has 2 points on engaging all fronts right now.
We were gone. Oh no! So here we go. He was just measuring for his ranges for things like keeping his dudes out of range of the 48 of the batteries, and he was just getting his measurements right. Yeah. So it looks like he's going to be sending some models in. You were wrong. I called it. I knew it.
Oh,
sorry.
See, Adam knows this, and he's not even there.
Jeez.
This is why we have Camilleri with us, guys.
We're into the bottom. We're into the top of 2 guys, and he is going to start slinging stuff. These infiltrators at the bottom of the table, or their Rust Stalkers, are going to go straight in, try and pop that Star Weaver, take away that objective. I assume what's going to happen is the autocannon chickens. Looks like Sean's nose is inside that ruin, that terrain piece, because I'm assuming he was getting some shuriken kind of shots. I think the Ballistari are going to touch their terrain piece, and they're going to see all the way through, and they're going to try and pick up that Star Weaver. The Rustalkers are going to go in and try and pick up anything that comes out of there. Either that or the Belarus cannons on the Disintegrators will try and do that job. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them move out from cover from where they are, because legitimately shooting-wise, like line of sight shooting-wise, like stuff that needs to be able to see you to shoot him, he's not afraid of that stuff shooting-wise. Like, what is he going to do? He's going to put 2 units of like fusion pistols to get him that close in order to kill one of those tanks. It's not going to happen. Get him out of there. Get the stubbers. Get the missiles on the front shooting and being relevant. Because the last thing you want to do is just shoot those strength 5 guns into like the toughness 5 chassis in the back of the board and do literally nothing.
Oh yeah, exactly. We really need to get rid of the forward pressure that Sean has right now, because even with those 2 little squads, and I don't see the Troop Master. I wonder if he actually used the strat to put him back in the transport as well after he killed all the stuff that he killed in there, because that is Soaring Spite strat as well. So he might have
Mhm.
gotten out, killed something, then gotten back in. So he's able to do the same thing again into his back line. You need to take out that mobility, because that mobility is devastating.
Exactly
His
right.
shooting is still very strong. He has so much out of line of sight shooting in the back. But the thing is, the Tempest launchers are losing a bit of value now if they're not able to shoot that Ranger squad in the back now.
Would you use the Belarus to pick up the Reapers? Is that what you target?
I don't. The Reapers might be one thing to target with them, because they are still doing damage, but not as much. I don't think they're what he needs to worry about right now. He needs to start worrying about the stuff that's in his face. And the
Mm.
big threat right now is the Spectres. Unfortunately, those Belarus are very unlikely to kill them.
Well, my issue with the Belarus, I think I'm just going to triple check now, but I think they're only 36 inches. If they're
Yeah.
if they're only 36 inches, the Reapers are able to, with the Reapers with the plus 6-inch range, outrange the hell out of those guys.
Oh, yes,
They can sit at
absolutely.
the back of the board and be like, well, I don't need the missiles because all I can see is infantry. I'm just going to sit at the back of this board with this 54-inch range Tempest launcher, I think. Please, someone in the chat correct me if I'm wrong, and just shoot you, because Belarus energy cannon is 36. So this range war is 100% in Sean's favor.
Yeah, for sure. That's why he needs to focus on the forward pressure. So at least he can try to hold his objectives. He's not going to be able to push into his back line with anything that he has right now. It's going to be interesting what he does with the Solar Flare now, because I don't know if I would Solar Flare those Rangers up right now. They are so vulnerable to those Tempest launchers.
I would, if I was him, the thing. See, this is an interesting thing, yeah. I think putting the disintegrators where they are may have been a mistake, and I would rather have seen them on the front line than his 20-man units.
Yeah, I see why he didn't, just because he has the Purge.
I can see why. I can see why he didn't as well. But
Eradication of Flesh, sorry.
Yeah, I can see why he didn't. It's a good reason why he didn't, but in hindsight, maybe he wish he may have, because legitimately, they're one of the hardest things that he can put on there for Sean to remove. The only thing Sean has to remove them is the strength 6 shots on the Spectres, which are going to be winning him on 5s, and a bunch of fusion pistols that have to get ridiculously close to be relevant, and then you get to pick those up in response very easily with things like your Rangers just pop them, and then one unit of whatever you want goes in and kills the 5 Harlequins.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that's what he wants to focus on right now, because if he actually gets rid of those fusion, he could move those the disintegrators onto those objectives, and they would be relatively, I'm not going to say safe, but they would be one of the better things to hold the objectives with.
So the Tempest launchers are 36 as well, but they have the plus 6 inches range, so they're going to be 42 in this case. So they still got the range battle. They're still winning the range battle in this one.
Yep.
The smaller table does help a lot, but as soon as you got 40-inch range on these small tables, the world is your oyster.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is such a big difference. That extra 6 inches range, it's coming to play in this game. It's actually crazy to see, because you wouldn't think that 6 inches range is that big of a deal, but in this game, it's he's actually getting in a position to be able to do something better with those disintegrators. That's good.
Yeah. I was curious to see if Sean was going to take minimized losses. I thought it might not have been a bad choice for him in this game, especially if he thought he was going to get punished if he went second. But the terrain, the top couple of tables of terrain, are very, very premium, and literally, Sean built his army knowing he could have a terrain piece like the one he's got in his deployment zone right now, where he can hide a literal 2/3 of his army from fire, just bunker up an entire game, and just take pounds of flesh off you every single round. For those who don't know what this mission is Retrieval mission. This is Hammer and Anvil deployment, 6 objectives. You have 1 objective in your deployment zone, and then essentially 2 pairs of 2 objectives, 16 inches apart to the upper and the bottom of no man's land, 12 inches from the center of the board. This is a hold 1, hold 2. And we haven't seen either of the gentlemen on these to either tables take minimized losses, which means we're not going to talk about it anymore because no one took it. But I thought it would be taken. I legit thought this is a good one. This is one that's a nice, comfortable, sometimes 10-pointer. If you want to play a conservative game and just play the primary and that, you usually get away with a decent chunk of points. I think we've got some deep strikes coming in. I think this is the Taraxi, which I believe I did see get picked up turn 1 but from a CP. They could put him in reserve. They're going to come down. They're going to shoot and try and kill these Shadow Spectres, and they might even be trying to pop the Starweaver as well, or if case, just be there available to shoot the contents of the Starweaver should they get out in range.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Shadow Spectres are going to be the target here, because he wants to get him off that objective, try to keep the primary as close as he can with it.
100%, man. Yeah,
and that's definitely the target, especially since I'm pretty sure the Traxi have flamers, right? And that's the exact weapon you want to fire at the
exactly, because
they're all to hit.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And of course, he probably even trails back onto that top left-hand corner objective as well, because I don't think he wants to expose anything to that bit of fire. I'm trying to see if I'm trying to tell if I can see where the Fangmaster is. He could have gotten. Can he attack and get back in the boat?
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. The Soaring Spite does have a strat to attack and get back in, consolidate back in. Same thing as the Red Grief do with Drakari. So it looked like a pretty far 6 inches, but he might have been able to do it. So
he may have been able to do it. I don't. It looks like does look like a big.
He also
6 inches,
might be hiding behind that building.
He might just be in the overhang of the building. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, as for your the minimized loss thing, I actually do understand a little bit why they wouldn't, because especially on Sean's side, because he'd be the one that's probably a little more likely to take it just because of all the shooting power that he has against Brad. But because he took engage on fronts and retrieve Octarius data, he can only get rid of one of those. So he's actually throwing away. I'm not gonna say throwing away, but he has to forward move a lot of units, and it'll just incidentally make him lose points on minimized losses.
Yeah, the opportunity cost of what you may lose to get a comfortable 10 is the opportunity to get some 12s on Octarius and like a nice 10, 11, 12 on thing as well. So you can be hurting yourself. If you didn't have another option to take the place of the other one, then you just don't freaking do it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. We'll stick with this to see a shooting phase, because we did have a complaint that we keep leaving just as the shooting phases are going. But we also did have somebody say that they'd rather see the Necrons at this point. But then we have people saying, "Oh, when's Naden? Naden."
Everybody wants to see Naden.
We can't please everybody, so we're just going to stick here for a full turn, and then we'll bail as Naden's movement phase gets going. We'll go check back on the Necrons and the Drakari. We're seeing a lot of reshuffle in the backlines of him, and I command pull those guys out, push out the Disintegrators. If not, at least touch the ruins. You got 36 inches on those stubbers. Just getting those to see things like the Shadow Spectres is really worth it.
The stubbers in this matchup are so valuable because Naden's entire infantry force is toughness 3. Like you're wounding everything on 3s there. It's so valuable to do that. And most of them are just on invulns too. If you're talking about the Harlequins, stubbers are one of the best weapons to shoot at Harlequin troops. That's if you can actually pop the Shadowweaver or the Starweaver. Sorry, I got it. Starweaver. What is he putting up the top there? What is that?
So Marcelo Genovese has just asked who placed the terrain on this tables. LOL. These guys did.
These guys did it themselves.
Yeah, this is player placed terrain, and so you'll see there's a big dead no man's land in the middle of the board, which I believe is to it's probably by design of the AdMech player. I'm sure Naden would have loved to have put something to hop, skip, and jump through in order to get deep into his opponent's lines. Things like his Shining Spears really want to have something to hide behind before they go deep into somebody. But what I think has happened is they've both realized there's 4 objectives, none of them in the middle of the table, so don't waste any of these premium terrain pieces on a place where you don't need to be.
Yeah, for sure. And as we were talking about in the previous game too, like this is a great way to do that. And I really,
they're not the Taraxi, it's the Corpuscari.
Well, I think that's the Farseer next to the Spectres, isn't it? That means he can do the Auspex scan. Forewarning. That's what it is.
Yes, exactly right. And this is why I thought he took him. So let's see if Sean pulls it out of his bag of tricks, because 100% he should, I believe.
Oh yeah, he 100% should. Like those things are. The thing is.
Yeah, and it's so you can see where the Fangmaster is, by the way. You can see he didn't make it inside, unless he's there to represent that he's back inside. But they do have a move after attack strat, similar to what Ravenwing do. It's 2 CP, but he's just used that to jump over the other side of the terrain piece in order to stay relevant. And next turn he can jump back in it, or you can go for a charge, or you can do a lot of things. But I want to know if he intercepted, because it looks like Sean was rolling dice.
There's a lot of dice being rolled right now.
Looks like Sean rolled dice first, man. I believe he did intercept.
He should.
He should if he can, man. It's a reason why he brought that unit.
Did he take them off?
Let's see if he picks up any models.
Pointing at Spectres.
How many shots does Corpuscari have? They're 3 each, I think, with Tesla.
I think they're 3 each with the Tesla. Yeah.
Yeah. And depending on what Doctrine he's got available, they could be hitting with +1. Although no, they're Mechanicum. They don't get the Doctrina. So I'm not sure if you can give. Are you giving reroll 1s to hit? So you could be getting that. It looks like the Starweaver has been popped. Maybe that's what we were seeing there. The Corpuscari popped that, or he popped that with a Belarus cannon in the hopes that the Corpuscari could be able to clean them up. And then, Naden hasn't put him in range. Really thought he would have intercepted with the Shadow Spectres. They're next to what I believe is either his Farseer or his Autarch. But it could be that's his Autarch, and therefore
if it's his Autarch, then he wouldn't be able to do it. You have to be next to the Farseer.
Yeah, exactly. His Farseer might be right at the back of the board, buffing and buffing up stuff like his battery and his night spinners with things like Doom. Yep.
No. Yep, we got it
Wonderful.
there.
We have a table boss, Seth, the
We have a
Mad Dog,
table
who's
boss.
on with
Yes.
us. He's in turn 2. He popped the +1 hit doctrine for the AdMech, and he completed his rod in the lower left-hand quarter. He did at the top left-hand quarter in turn 1. He auto-advanced 6 on the Iron Striders in the lower left and rebuilt his screen around his characters and tanks to prevent the Troop Master or Autarch from auto-charging them and just picking up some freebies. He deep struck in the mid-table to that is the Corpuscari, and he just killed the top Skyweaver with his indirect. Now he's put his indirect into the Shadow Specters.
Shadow Specters. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean,
Interesting.
I think it's strength 5, so it can do work. But
yeah, dude, he's killed a couple. He's killed a couple already.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That helps him all a lot. I guess the Traxi didn't come in then.
Yeah, Traxi is staying off the table in all assumptions because those 100% are the Corpuscari.
Okay, well, they seem to be doing work where they are. I still he needs to focus on those Shadow Specters though, because that's what's holding that objective. He wants to try to because right now he's not on his top left one. He's giving Shadow 15 if he doesn't kick him off.
I'm really surprised he didn't stream something or put even just one of those Corpuscari back onto that objective. I figured there's really no point not to at this point. All it's doing,
you still make sure you make the charge.
Well,
just in case you fail it, you're still gonna be on that objective at least. It guarantees you that you're
well,
not just give him 15.
If you flubbed killing the Shadow Specters, you're giving up the 15 if you're not there. If you are there, then you're guaranteeing no matter what happens, Nade's getting a 10.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he wants to do right now. So I'm a little confused on why he didn't do that. I guess unless he has some grand scheme that's going to wipe them off that table, or if he can kill that other Star Weaver. But
beautiful. Yeah, this is getting a little bit spicy as well. I'm just going to type to our table boss and ask what he's going to shoot with the Ballistari when he does shoot him. He's probably just going to tell us realistically. He's just doing stream of consciousness. He's doing a great job.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Very happy to have the Mad Dog in the house. So Shadow Spectres look like they're down to about 4 guys remaining, and that Autarch in as well. So just explain to you guys. Frontline Gaming did a holistic assessment of the terrain that they had. They have a lot of these larger ruins, but they don't have a lot of the smaller ruins that you start seeing on a lot of tables. And so they made the choice to give forests in this mission pack the obscuring keyword. So as you see it right now, as long as these Shadow Spectres are behind the forest, they won't be able to be seen, which may be why he was forced to put the Disintegrators into them rather than just spanking them down with the Corpuscari, as we thought he would.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And that
looks like he's measuring the charge now too.
And dude, if that is his farseer, that's why the Shadow Spectres couldn't shoot him, because they're on the wrong side of the forest.
Everything makes sense.
It all makes sense. Yeah, we get it now. We know things.
Oh, the Electro Priest killed the character in the lower right.
Yeah, I wanted to know what that was. What did you think that guy was? Because I couldn't get a bead on him.
The only characters he has are the Autarch, the Farseer, and the Troopmaster, I think. So, and it's not the Troopmaster because we saw that. So whatever that one in the center isn't. Is the one that died.
I couldn't figure out what the hell that guy was, which is why I really didn't comment on him. I usually only like to point things out when it could have been his Death Jester.
Oh, the Death Jester. That's right. Yes, because he had the Troopmaster in the 5-man squad, so that was on the ground as well. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly right. Shadow Spectres are good, but they need help, rerolls, etc., and they are fragile. Yes, they're extremely expensive and extremely fragile. How many points is it for that 8-man unit? I'm just going to have a quick look.
Of the Shadow Spectres? The Shadow Spectre 8-man is 234.
Oh dear.
234.
Oh,
and
my.
It was a 9-man too, because it was 8 and an Exarch.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that hurts.
That is so expensive, my lord. And yeah, so I mean, I can't say Brad's doing the right things. I mean, the only thing I wish he would have done that he didn't do was put something on that top left objective. But I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter. And as long as he picks up the Shadow Spectres, which I mean, if he's already shot the Belleros, both of them, he's not picking up those Shadow Spectres anymore. He has popped the Star Weaver, but I want to see him pop the other Star Weaver as well. But that only is a thing if he's touching that terrain piece. If he's not touching the terrain piece, he can't kill it. He's going to have to rely on the Ruststalkers to charge it, kill it. But then he doesn't get that objective because the contents will be OBSEC.
Yeah, I think.
So that is the end of. That means.
He must have failed the charge.
Yeah, he must have failed the charge. They're just pricing up. We're going to get an update on those scores, and then we'll be transitioning over to the Necron game. Interesting.
That
Interesting,
hurts that
interesting, interesting.
he's gonna give a 15 to Sean.
Yeah, we're just going to jump over to the Necron game now. We'll give you guys an update on those scores when they come in, because who knows how long it'll take them. Over to the Necron game, it's on. It's party time.
It's
Excellent.
on.
It's on, man. He's doing what he had to do.
Excellent.
Has he killed any of the Venoms? Look at the one at the top, in the top right-hand corner. Looks like it's taken wounds, but it's still alive. And the one of the ones in the bottom right-hand corner have been... Oh, no, they're both still there, I think. Yeah, they're both still there.
Is it still... Maybe it's his turn still? Is this the same... Because both of them are hurt, but that might have just been in the smashback on his...
Yeah, exactly. I would assume we are still in the Necron turn. We may be in the Necron combat phase. Although he did just... Yeah. I was, I was about to say sorry, Mr. Nathan just turned his stuff up, his CP up. Now he's just turned them down. So whatever it is there. This will be combat. This will be combat 100%. And I expect him to have cleared his lines by the time we return here. Well, maybe not cleared his lines, but he will clear his objectives. Now, what is really frustrating is that those Venoms are going to give him a nice big old donut on Purge of the Vermin.
Yeah, that's such a pain in the butt. That's the problem too. That's what we were talking about. Now, and the other thing is too, again, we said they're not providing any like real threat or value to kill them, but they are denying him points. Putting
exactly right.
It hurts, but he is doing what I said he should do, and he is swarming those objectives with his OBSEC.
Exactly, dude. Exactly what he needs to do. Don't worry about the secondaries, man. You were never going to win the secondary battle versus this army anyway. You may have made some different choices that could have got you more points, but double down, triple down, and win that primary. That's where the game will be lost or won for you. You being Mr. Marshall. We've had a score update for the end of the turn for the Drakari. That must have been Drakari turn 2 that we were seeing as well, and they just had a really lackluster turn 1 where not much happened because he scored primary. So he's got 10 for primary, 0 for 2 the last, of course. He scored at the end. 4 for Octavius Data, which means we've had 2 turns. He's done it twice. I'm assuming that's both of his deployment zones. Unless that unit that went onto the bottom right hand objective did that there, that would have been very clever because it was up to him whether he was going to charge into the Scarabs or not and get some value there. So I'm assuming
in his zone. I think. Yeah. I'm just looking at the measurements now. I'm pretty sure you can't do with the way he was positioned. It's 8 inches. Yeah, he wasn't 6 inches away from it.
Yeah, fair enough. And then I heard the prey 4 points there. Just have a quick look at our table boss and see what's happening there. Okay. So Electro Priest declared a charge onto the Troop Master and the Shadow Spectres. They failed a 10-inch charge with the 3d6 and a reroll.
Yeah, he was relying on 3d6.
Both players commented that was probably the game for the AdMech. Brad seems quite defeated. I don't disagree. I think when you play that matchup... When you play that matchup, man, and you are playing against Sean Naden, someone of his caliber, of course, don't want to blow too much smoke, and he's of his caliber and he's built the list to beat you, you're like, oh, this is going to come down to so many little small things, and they all need to go my way.
Yeah, for sure. And that was the main problem. That's what I was saying too. He could still string that out to at least be on that objective and still try to make that charge. And if you make the charge, be able to pile and still get most of them in, they would still probably kill the Shadow Spectres. It at least guarantees you're not giving him a 15 primary to Sean on that turn.
Yeah.
But relying on a charge to go off, even if it's 3d6, guys, it is risky. You have to have a backup plan in case that charge fails. And unfortunately, because it failed and I wasn't on that, a 15 primary for Sean puts him in the driver's seat of that game for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to that, going into Sean's turn 2, the shooting is just going to pick up all the infantry. Every infantry model is probably just going to be gone or severely depleted, and his ability to play the mission will be as bad as Sean's is, which is what he wants to do. He wants you to be as bad on the primary as he is, but he's going to jank it out with his Necrons, with his Harlequin units and just get the little points here and there and start swinging it his way.
Yeah, for sure.
Because kind of the last thing Sean wants to see is somebody who can double and triple him down on the MSU. We talked about all the value that he has wrapped up in his profiles, and all the value he has only works off that blast keyword. If you don't have anything that triggers any blast value, he's really he's got strength 6 with no rend. If he played against an MSU Marine army, he might be in for a bad time, especially that guy's toting a bunch of storm shields. We'll just be like, sorry, bro, don't care. Walking up the table, mine.
We don't care about all your little piddly things. You're throwing flies at us,
dude. 3x3 blade guard would be a nightmare for his army.
Yeah, it absolutely would too. And that's the thing though. He brought this list specifically to beat a list like the one he was playing. So it causes a lot of problems for him too.
Exactly right. So it looks like we're going into the top of turn. This will be the top of turn 3, I presume, unless the Necron player went first. which I don't believe was the case.
I don't
I
think
think,
so.
yeah. Um, we've got Richard. He's a man on the ground. He's going to go ask what happened. Uh, but yeah, like these are two tied games. Look, I still think the Necrons are in this, but
Oh,
they
the
have
Necrons are
to
for
like
sure in this.
they have to do some real big work in these next two turns. Like,
Well,
I
the
mean,
big thing
some
is to keep the primary, as you were saying. The primary is how he's going to win this game. And swarming those
yeah,
objectives is exactly how he does it, because the Drukhari are going to have a lot of trouble kicking him off all that
mhm,
objective and taking it away from him. Because in order to
yeah,
do it now, he has to get some close combat into him, and he needs to not only kill a lot of his stuff, but survive the hit back too. And that's going to be hard
yeah.
to do.
What I see, yeah, what I thought happened. Richard just confirmed the Dark Knight player did get
Yeah.
turn one. As we can see right now, one of the Venoms in the top of the board has been picked up, and he's had some units disgorged from it. I think he's picked up one or two of those in addition from rolling ones. And look where he's deploying. He's just deploying back, out of range of any taps, out of range of any risk, and he's just going to be there and just be very, very frustrating. That looks. I'm really confused all of a sudden. That looks like Scorpec destroys in the bottom right-hand corner. I thought the Scorpec destroys were at the top.
So did I. Maybe. Oh no, those are definitely the Scorpex in the bottom there.
Yeah, they are 100%. Must be the Lich Guard at the top, and he's just got the. He's got the because what I was looking for the blades, and the Lich Guard also have those blades, but they're on a different caliber. But yeah, we couldn't see those guys before. They were entirely hidden from our view, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So they're at
that's
the bottom. They'll easily see this, but you don't want to have that unit there. You want that unit going in, because each individual one of those guys with the right buffs kills a Venom by himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the Venoms don't stand a chance against those in close combat for sure. And that's the thing that he can just throw in there, because he doesn't need them to kill anything else that's around there. In fact, it's probably best to keep them ready, just keep dealing with these stupid Venoms that keep running around his backline.
Mm, yeah, fair enough. Um, I'm just having a quick look through our chat. Give any shout outs you'd like to give, please throw them up. Tell us where you hail from, where you are playing, what you are doing with your, I presume, Saturday. What are you? Oh, sorry, is it Friday where you are? No, it's Saturday.
No, this is Saturday. You got it right.
Yeah. What are you doing with your Saturday? You're painting anything, hanging out with family. What are you looking forward to for the rest of today? We've got one more game to go, which will once again be the top two tables. Looks like Sean Nathan's going to be staying on stream, and who knows, he could be playing against this Drukhari army, which would give him a stupidly good test.
Yeah, it would.
It'd give him a viability check. Is the skew he's taken just good against everything, or is it really fall down against stuff like what Marshall's got? I reckon it does. I reckon Marshall can just go and tap all of his line of sight shooting stuff turn one with his 18-inch moving Venoms, and let's be like, I'm on every objective, and I don't think he got enough time to kill me off them all.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. If the Drukhari get the fight into Sean Naden's list, it is going to be a lot harder for Naden to have the board control that he wants against that list, because they're Venoms, because they're faster, they can just tie up literally everything in his army, and it's going to be a lot harder for him to do the damage he likes to do, because Sean doesn't have much in the way of close combat punch aside from the Harlequin troops.
Exactly right. Shout outs from Gwatkin Gaming. Is that Richard? Never mind. Shout outs from London. Hello, my man. Belzaro basing mini cheering on the Necrons. I'm also cheering the Necrons on. We've had a guy asking if this is Dustin from Stud or Scrub. Is that? Can you confirm or deny these allegations?
It absolutely is Dustin for Stud or Scrub. I'm so happy that somebody recognizes my my lustrous voice here.
Well, there you go. What did I call you? It's an intrepid man of incomparable. Yeah, well known.
Incomparable intrepidness.
Yes, I just reel off, words that go together. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Do they make sense? It doesn't matter. It makes me sound awesome, and I'll take it.
Gentleman finishing off his Cog Guard, Tamagotchi Express. Hey from Hawaii. Unpacking my AdMech after playing my friend's Deathwatch last night. How'd you go in the game? Let us know what you went down. Nicholas Rivard has stated he's painting his 2 Redemptors for Space Wolves up in upstate New York. Neil Kerr, relaxing after my flyback from Ukraine. Dude, hope you had a wonderful holiday. I saw some of the pics. Absolutely gorgeous. And Tom Adriani has congratulated you, Dustin, on your 100 episodes.
Thank you, Tom, one of our loyal fans. I'm really excited about our 100th episode, too. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for that live stream, too. That episode was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, dude, I've yet to tune in. It's really weird now with the amount of content I put out. The amount of content I consume has fallen out the ass.
There's so much of it.
This is so much. Yeah. It used to be that every day I'd listen to some kind of podcast or watch a battle report, like because I usually paint for an hour every day, and so minimum I consume an hour every day, and now I just kind of like want to listen to music or audiobooks.
No, I get that for sure. We've actually started to do regular live streams on Wednesday nights too. We're trying to put it on a night that like Art of
Sick.
War and Tabletop Titans aren't doing it. We don't want to contest with all those guys. There's just no point. We're just two little bums that are running a ranch facility in my basement. You know, we're trying to get some extra
Dude,
content on a day that we don't normally get some. So
so many of the greatest things in life have been like cooked up in somebody's basement.
it's true. It's absolutely true, including
Mm.
the beer that's down there right now too. It's
Lovely. Looks like in the bottom of the table, either that other venom has been picked up, or he has just decided to. Actually, no, it can't be have been picked up. Looks like he's just decided to get the guys out of it. They're probably going to do Rod. Then I'm assuming they'll be doing Rod
that's
in
where
that
you're
quarter,
gonna rod.
and
Yeah.
the venom is going to bugger off further into his back lines and just continue to be a frustration piece. Interesting and probably really annoying that unit in the top, the venom in the top right hand corner hasn't died. I really want to know what happened with that unit. I think they may have just fallen back through into the ruin rather than just stay in combat with it. Because I don't think I've seen him use the veil, because I think it would have been an absolute waste of the best relic he has available to him.
Yeah, he doesn't want to use it just to get rid of one of those things. And the funny part is, Nathan's plan probably was to try and get him to use it. But the other thing too was because those venoms were all over his back line, he wouldn't even be able to put it anywhere. Like picking them up,
Yeah,
putting them
exactly
down
right.
is so limited where it can go.
Yeah, exactly right. Kelster to go, whatever your name is, has pointed out that Dustin's first time he's heard you on commentary, and he's doing a good job. You have the gifts. I absolutely echo those thoughts. I knew literally nothing about Dustin outside of a couple of the podcast mentions and things. And yeah, this guy's killing it, guys. Hopefully, please continue to support our good man Dustin Henshaw. I will have him on anytime.
Well, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that, guys. I'm so happy you guys are enjoying it. I'm trying my best. I haven't done any 40K commentary with somebody as illustrious as Adam Camilleri himself, but I'm
No,
glad I can kind of at least keep up with him.
dude,
I'm rubber banding him like Mario Kart. You know, I'm just
you
catching
can.
up with him whenever he crosses the finish line. You know,
Nah, bro, you can hang, man. You can hang
we're doing this. We're doing
anytime.
this. We're doing it live.
All right. What happens here for the? Does the Dark Elder actually need to do anything right now? As I see it right now, the worst thing that they can do is bleed out and overcommit at this point. There's a lot of strength on the board for the Necrons. Now you have to decide whether you're going to have a couple little surgical strikes. You know, probably use a unit of Incubi or two, or you're going to fade away and do the Dark Elder. Like, you know, we've already here done some damage. Back away. Let him string out. Let him over invest, and then come in and hit him back. Or do you go in now and try and pick up some pieces where you can? I think he unleashes on one of these objectives. You pick the top one of the Necrons, or you pick the bottom one, and you go in with a unit or two of Incubi, maybe one of the smashy succubuses. What do you think about that, Dustin?
I think you are definitely on the money of what he wants to do. I think the weaker objective is the top one right now. The bottom
I
one
think
has
so
the
too.
can there. It has the destroyers. That is not the
Yeah,
one you want to contest.
exactly
And
right.
the thing is, though, too, the Drakari doesn't have to make the first move here. He's already in the driver's seat
No,
because he's
he
denying
is.
to
Yeah.
purge the vermin. He can just
Mhm.
keep throwing venoms away and keep denying his secondary points there without losing too much of his own. So he can actually wait for the Necrons, because the Necrons are going to eventually have to push out and try to take the objectives that the Drakari are on too, which gives him the advantage of
Yep.
just deciding on when and where to engage him.
So to my mind, there's two ways you can go about this, and you're spot on. The Necrons are slow army, guys. It's slow army. So what you want to do, you're shooting. You want to target the things that have the opportunity to get on one of your home objectives next turn, because his entire army is obsec. So if you just got Venom sitting on it, he's going to take it away. Get rid of the Canoptic units. Get rid of the Scarabs, which are the things that move those 8 and whatever inches they move. I think they move 8 or they move 10. Anyway, they move quick. They're going to be able to get from those objectives onto the other ones next turn with any kind of advance roll. But things like Lich Guard have no freaking chance. There's 16 inches between these two objectives. Sorry, between the dots of these two objectives. I mean that there's only, what's the no man's land between that? So there's 3 inches off that on either side. There's only 10 inches of dead space between these two objectives.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take those away, like a Lich Guard, that needs a 5 on an advance roll to make it from the tip of one to the tip of another. Kill the Canoptic units, take away any opportunity he has to charge onto yours, and all of a sudden he can't get there. He has 0 chances of getting there. So I think that's the best choice if you don't want to engage. If you do want to engage, go in, use the shooting to kill the Canoptics anyway, because they're the easiest things to gun down, and then pick one of these units of Lich Guards and double and triple down on it. Make sure it dies and is dead. Otherwise, you're just giving him value for those res orbs. And as you can see, he's got the Locust Lord at the top. He has a res orb, and I'm assuming that means he's got the Overlord at the bottom with his Orb of Eternity. You do not want to give him value for those.
No, definitely not. And you can see he's actually like Nathan's actually doing the right thing now. He's throwing another venom up there to make sure he has two things to deal with now. So now it's going to be even harder for Marshall to actually start pushing out over to his objectives because these venoms are back here denying him points, and they're going to eventually cause some problems for him if he doesn't deal with them soon. He's going to have to eventually put some kind of resources into them, either whether it's some immortal shooting, it's a little bit of close combat from some of the characters. He's got to do something about them, otherwise they're just going to keep causing havoc. And actually, Nathan has done the perfect thing because if you see, he has some obsec touching that top left objective as well. So even if Marshall gets a good advance on those guys moving up, he might not be able to take that objective away, even if he does that.
Yeah, spot on. So this is one of the things and one of the reasons that this Drakari army wasn't a top army before, because in all intents and purposes, this gentleman is playing a 6-month-old Drakari army. It's fully optimized MSU. And it's fully optimized MSU now because he can do so much killing where before he couldn't. Before he was like, well, I've played into these armies before when it had the Reapers, and the old Dark Technomancer had the Reapers, and it had like, a swarm of Venoms. And I was playing Deathwing Terminators. I just didn't give a crap about anything he had in his army. Just like,
Yeah.
you're never going to kill anything that I've got.
Yeah, it won't even
And,
matter.
yeah, not even going to matter, mate. And but now these things with the strength 5 -1 damage 2 on the splinter cannons, they actually wear you down, man. They do actually do quite a lot of damage, especially when you got freaking 8 of the damn things.
Oh
Like,
my God, yeah.
you just gotta roll hot sometimes and just do more damage than you should, and all of a sudden that can really swing a game.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like this exploding sixes, like even though it's only maybe 10 shots or whatever, it might not seem like a lot, but if it spikes, it hurts.
Mm,
Like spiking a couple autos explosions it's a big deal, and it can
yeah.
especially the 2 damage against like things like scarabs, even the lich guard, like because if any of them go through, it's just a dead lich guard.
Yep, 100%. We haven't seen the other raider yet, and this is turn 3, I believe. Oh, no, so yeah, this is turn 3 for the Drakari, so I'm assuming we have to see that come down in addition to his unit of Scourge. I think the Scourge have got a nice, beautiful deployment option right in the top right-hand corner, and that would keep some of his shooting elements occupied, keep them up there having to shoot at those things, and not shooting at Venoms, not clearing out these objectives. It could be the perfect use for him, or it could just be throwing them away while giving him return for those points. I'm not sure if he, I didn't think he got the memo because he pushed both two of his Venoms out right into his opponent's face. In addition, I see a character between the two Venoms, which I'm assuming is one of his succubuses.
Got to be the succubus, yeah. And the scourge going the back, the top right corner in the Necron deployments, I think makes perfect sense. The venom there is already there with the landing lights. They've got everything lit up for them, exactly where they want to go. Put the Octarius David down. Although they might be trying to do that with the witches there, but the scourge up at the top, because of the amount of venoms that are in that corner, they'd probably be safe for another turn, to be honest.
Yeah. In all honesty, I think this is a mistake, but I don't think it's going to matter that much. I still think Marshall's going to be in the drive. Sorry, I still think Nace is going to be in the driver's seat. There's what he's doing right now, pushing these Venoms out. There's no need to do it. You're already winning the game.
There's definitely no need to
play conservatively, play defensively. Make sure, guarantee you make that day 3. As it is right now, next turn he's going to lose 5 Venoms to combat. Is what I'm seeing right now. Like Locust Lord kills 1, the Unit Lich Guard kill 2, below Unit Lich Guard kill 2, and yeah, he's going to lose a lot of stuff that he probably doesn't need to lose.
No, I think he's overextending here. Like he is in the driver's seat already. He might not have been winning by a lot before, but he was still going to be winning the game. And right now he's going for the throat, so he might be going for a bigger win right now. But he doesn't realize that Marshall still has a neck guard on it. I don't know if the throat's open yet.
Yeah, exactly right. We're going to transition back over to the Sean Naden game because I understand we're just about to go into his shooting phase, and we're going to see what the terror he will unleash this turn.
Let's go see the shooting phase that we missed because we want to see everything dying.
We want to see one of them. So the Corpus Guy getting invested upon right now. I'm just going to give you the hot takes from our man on the ground, that being the wonderful Seth the Mad Dog. The Eldar turn can be summarized as such. Skyweaver moved on to the bottom left-hand objective near the Iron Striders, probably going to go in there and tap them. Shadow Weaver moved from the pack into the bottom left-hand objective in order to sit on it on that objective. He's done Rod, he's done Retrieval data in the upper right-hand quarter for this turn, that being his second one, I believe. His depleted unit of Shadow Spectres moved up to shield his, I believe, his character, that character either being the Autarch. I think he's going to try and sling that in for his next turn aggressive element. He's chucked Guide on those Shadow Spectres as well. Doom has gone onto one of the AdMech indirect tanks. The Shadow Spectres have done 9 wounds to that tank. And the fusion from the Skyweaver has opened up and killed 1 and did 5 to another Ballistari.
Okay. Oh, so if Doom went on the back one, then that Frontline definitely is the Farseer because that's the only way it would be in range.
It's
That's
exactly
definitely the
right.
Farseer.
There's no way.
Okay.
There's no way he's in range otherwise. So that is the Farseer, which meant that the Forest was the thing that stopped him from doing the
Yeah.
intercept.
Okay.
So, and I hope they both had a discussion about the obscuring beforehand. Sure, these are top players. They're not going to get
Yeah,
caught out
I'm sure they
things
would.
like that.
Sean wouldn't get him with gotchas. I know him. He's a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah, he's a good
He's my 40K crush. You know that. Come
dude.
on.
Hmm.
He's the guy
All
I
right.
want to play. I just love the way he plays his list, and I need to play him on the table at some point.
Yeah, I've played him once, and yeah, he was an absolute gun. Corpse Guy's down to one guy, just sitting and he's lonesome in the middle of the table. He still has that Solar Flare. He's still using a Taraxi in reserve as well. So in all likelihood, these inroads that Sean is making right now can be picked up in response. I would like to point out that, yeah, the Ballistari in the bottom, look at the bottom left-hand ruin. There's one Ballistari sitting there. The other one got picked up by the fusion inside that boat. Now, I'm interested to know what that boat does now. Does it put a shooting into the ranges, or which I believe is what it should do, because I think the profiles on things like the Night Spinners are perfect for picking up the Rust Stalkers. I would like to also to point out it wasn't the Shadow Weaver that moved onto the bottom right hand objective; it was the Night Spinner.
The Night Spinner. Oh yes.
Well, because I was really quizzical. I'm like, these things only move like what 5 inches, and they can't go through the wall. So how is it going around onto that objective? And now that I can see it physically, it was obviously because
To
of
be fair, they do have Shadow Weaver guns, so it's not wrong.
He's not incorrect.
It's not incorrect.
But technically,
if you want to get technical here.
If you want to get technical. Looking at the scores right now, this is the bottom of turn 2 for Mr. Naden. It's 27 to 26 his favor right now, and that was mostly because of him getting a 10 to his opponent's 5 on the last round of primary. And yeah, we're going to get the scores updated for the end of the battle round as well. Actually, no, apologies. This is going to be the end of turn 3. Because Naden hasn't gotten a 15 on Primus. This is 2 turns of scoring for Naden. So it's only been two fives for Brad. It's a bit of a yikes. As you can see right now, it looks like we have got some shooting going into the ranges above that Starweaver. That's Starweaver. Is a Starweaver. Yes.
Starweaver. Yeah.
I am not tripping. Not tripping. We're doing some measurements on the back of the board. Which is a bit interesting. Well, because if it is turn 3, no, that's why he that's why he put the Taraxi on the table, guys. I was really curious why he put the Taraxi on the table. It's because he wanted to be able to deep strike them later in the game past turn 3. So he put them on and took them off. It looks like we do have some damage to Goodo profiles going into those Rust Stalkers at the bottom middle left-hand objective. Man, is there any coming back for Brad? Is there any hope?
It's never over, and I always say that. Always play the game out. He's definitely on the back foot now, and I think Sean has the ability to keep him at 5 primary every turn now because he has so much mobility. Those shining spears at the top right are ready to take over for the guys that are on the top left of the objective over there too. So he's got waves of guys just ready to keep contesting those objectives and make sure that his primary is kept down to a minimum.
Yeah, exactly right. I love it how everyone sees the word Brad and automatically assume it's Chester. But no, this is Brad Townsend, a name you should probably know because he's smashing it.
Yeah, he's also a very good player. So
I think he's going down like a ton of bricks in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if he makes day 3 anyway.
Oh yeah, he easily could. He can still get a lot of points for this one. It depends on how hard Sean is trying to deny him here. Obviously, he wants to make sure he's winning that game, and keeping his primary down is the best way to do that. First off,
yeah. Well, Sean is a guy. He's very tactical with the amount of points he decides to get. Like, so he had to play in the Shadow round. I think it was 2 Las Vegas Opens ago, and he said because that was the first time he ever got knocked out in the first round of the finals, and he said it was because he played the Shadow round. He's vowed to never play a Shadow round again, and since then, every time he said, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to be in first place or for the entire event," he's pretty much been able to do that. But the thing is, I don't think this list is able to get 100-point wins whenever it wants.
No,
a lot of his other ones
it does actually struggle against some.
Does,
I'm not going to say struggle, but it doesn't have easy games against some of these lists. Like that Drukhari list will actually be a lot of problem for him. If
honestly, I really worry if he plays that game because I think he's going down.
Ooh, okay.
I'm putting it out there right now.
I think if he plays, okay. I kind of hope this game happens in Game 6 because I'm excited to see that happen. That'll be great.
Just looking at our leaderboard, we have Matthew Gaia playing Adeptus Mechanicus, has got his 5th scoring. He's got another W. He's got a 100, a 75, a 97, 65, and 94. Really varied points wins. And I'm happy to see that from Colt Mechanicus. I'm happy to see that. That means he's actually had some hard games as an AdMech player. And so, you love to see it. You don't want to see him just get tons because then you think, yep, Is something wrong here? Even though I do think there is something wrong here.
There
Putting that out there.
is, but
There
it's
is.
okay. It's okay. This is fine.
Yeah.
You've seen that meme. This is fine.
World's on fire. This is fine.
World's on fire. This is fine. This
Spot on.
too shall pass.
Yeah. The unit of Rangers and that unit of Ruststalkers have both been diminished. There's 3 left of the 5 of the Ruststalkers, and there's only 1 left of, I think, the 7 or 8 that was remaining of the Rangers. So I do think they're going to be picked up. If they don't pop to morale, they will get picked up some other way. The Corpuscari in the middle is completely gone, and looks like Sean is in strength on 4 of these 5 objectives. Sorry, 5 of these 6 objectives, rather. What can you see at the top of the table for Mr. Naden? There's something directly above that top left-hand objective. I'm not quite sure what it is.
I think that's his 5-man Spectre unit.
That's what I was about to say. I think it makes the most sense for it to be the 5-man Spectres. They have to come down this turn, and I assumed they were placed in reserve. Because they get free deep strike, and so he's just going to put him there as a bit of a pressure play. So if he does get cleared off this the left objective, he's got 2 Spectres to go on it, in addition to what looks to be 2 characters as well. So very unlikely he gets removed from that one from here on out.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying before. It's the amount of people that he has like just ready to get on
there. And also because he put Doom on that upper disintegrator from the Farseer, and he wanted to make sure he got the focused beam shots from those guys, and they have been picked up.
Wow.
All right.
Quick, going to make it harder for Eradication of Flesh too.
Quick update from our table boss. Shadow Spectres did 9 wounds to that indirect tank, and then the small unit did pick it up. Fusion from the Skyweaver killed one of the Ballistari and did 5 wounds to the other one, as we said before. Dark Reapers and support weapons into the Electro Priests, wiped them out. Night Spitter killed 2 Infiltrators and 3 Scutari on the lower left objective, which is exactly what we saw. And the support weapons then chimed in and got that Ranger unit down to 1 model left. The last unit, like I said, of the Shadow Weavers, the 5-man, just shot into the tank, and he is gone. Yeah, so look,
Seth has got it now too. He's actually calling them support weapons instead of Shadow Weavers now, so we don't get confused about the Night Spinner and Shadow Weavers. See, he's got this. Good table boss work.
Exactly right.
This is great.
Hyper Bunny 99. What I'm impressed with about Sean is that he's been in the top 8 of the LVO for something like 5 years in a row. Is that right? You got to be good to pull that off consistently. Look, Sean has been in the top of the LVO spectrum every single time he's attended. He's never not made the top 8 of the LVO, and that's like making the Super Bowl every year, guys. Just to put it in perspective,
it really is.
Yeah, he doesn't win it every year. He's only won it once, which shows you just how hard it is to win one of these damn things. But the fact he's there every year is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he's an extremely good player. See there, he's doing the exact thing that you should be doing. He's spreading them out, making sure he's still on that objective with another unit. So he's kind of getting some fail safes in place to make sure he's still holding it, even if things start dying on his end, which they will. There's still some firepower left in the AdMech, and he's playing it safe too. The other thing you got to remember too is that Sean is he's a WTC player, and WTC players are so aware of points on both sides, not just your own points, because you have to worry about how many points your opponent's getting too, because it's the differential that makes a difference. So Sean is very good at making sure that not only is he getting his points, but he's denying his opponent points. That's why a lot of his games will be huge gaps. It's the way he plays.
Yeah, exactly right. Looks like he's made some charges onto that unit of Rangers, so that's just another one of his tools being locked down. Looks like the Shadow Spectres and the Harlequin troop both made that charge. Bad times bears. One of those might not be a charge though. One of those could just be a fire and fade. Though I did not believe I saw that. I did think I saw the charge rolls being played out. Interesting to see. So one of the only real offensive assets he has in any decent position right now is that unit of 3 Ruststalkers. But I'm not quite sure what unit of 3 doesn't kill a Night Spitter, but he can certainly take that objective off Sean if he wants. Not that it's going to make a huge deal. So here's one of the things that I thought I was going to see from Sean. So the game's in his favor, and the only real thing his opponent had that could turn the tide right now is that Solar Flare. But Sean has the entire freaking table locked out. Yeah. If he's soul flaring, he's pretty much picking that unit up and putting it back down exactly where it is.
Yep, he's moving over like 6 inches maybe, and getting some shots on it. So this is exactly what he can do with this kind of mobility, just shut down that mobility.
This is what I believe he should do, possibly, if he wants to get some more points here. He's not winning this game, guys. It's too far gone. He soul flares out the unit that's just been tapped by the Harlequins. He soul flares them up to just in front of the top right-hand corner of forest and clears off everything over there. Just clears it all out. And then he drops down everything. He drops down the top unit, just walks down and uses his 30-inch range to shoot down, kill the Starweaver. Ruststalkers go in, pick up that. And all of a sudden, he can stabilize on his side of the board. He can legitimately still stabilize his side of the board. This is the power and the respect you need to give to AdMech, guys. He still has the resources left to clear off most of what Sean's got on the table, but the fact is that the scoreboard's too far gone now for him to win.
Yeah, for sure. He does need to kind of stabilize a little bit, just because he's not out of the top, or he's not out of day 3 yet. He can still make it into day 3. He just needs to get as many points as he can and kind of kick Sean out of his deployment zone, and he can do that with the solar flare and kind of shooting off those shadow specters on the objective end in the corner there, because that'll actually give him a little bit more stabilization, and they still should be out of range of the Tempest launchers back in the bottom right corner of the Dark Reapers as well, so it keeps them a little bit safer than they would be before. And he's lost a lot of his punch.
Marcelo Genovese's pointed out, he's asking, is Sean's list that weird though? Question mark. It's all their best stuff in 9th edition. I disagree. I disagree kind of wholeheartedly. He's playing an Eldari list, a mixed Eldari soup list with 0 Drakari in it.
That is, yeah, that itself is immediately not the best of Eldari, because the best of Eldari right now is Drakari.
It's Drakari. It's primary Drakari. It's mono Drakari. It's like head and shoulders above the rest. If you wanted to take this list and you didn't want to be Sean Naden, the wizard king of Eldar, you would have just taken like Drazar and a bunch of Incubi in Venoms instead of the Harlequins, and you just got a better freaking detachment. It's not as janky, but it does so much more for you. Kills whatever the hell you want, and is freaking phenomenal. I do think the line of sight shooting stuff is the best stuff. That is the best thing Eldar, like Craftwood Eldar, can bring to the table now, though.
Yeah, it for sure is. The Tempest launchers, the Night Spinners, the Shadow Weavers, the out of line of sight shooting that they can put out at ridiculous amounts of range, almost the entire table, is oppressive. It is oppressive to any army. It doesn't matter who you are. It hurts.
Yeah, agreed. And talking about like bad units, if I tried to shoot Shadow Specters, like, I think I'd have an aneurysm.
Yep.
Just put it out there, because I swear there'd be this one game, where I look at my table, I'm like, I've got 500 points of these like toughness 3, 1 wound pieces of crap, and there's only like, I only have like 10 of them in my list, and it's like almost a third of my army, a quarter of my army, and like some guy just shoots like a freaking manticore at him. I'm like, well, table flip, I'm going home.
Not even, you shoot some heavy stubbers at them and they just go down.
Some heavy stubbers.
Oh crap! I guess this 500 points gone.
Yeah, exactly right.
He knows how to use them though. Like he's like you said, he's the king of Eldari right now. He just knows how to use every unit in there. He's bringing exactly what he needs.
See, I think if I was trying to recreate this, I'd have Shining Spears instead of the Shadow Specters. I'd have 3 into 5 Shining Spears with the super invuln Chad Exarch at the front, just because it lets you play the board a bit. It lets you play the board, and they don't just instantly get picked up by any bloke over his dog. And it lets you not have to play perfect 40k, which I feel like is the standard that Naden always holds himself to. He has to play perfect 40k at all times, otherwise he gets nowhere. Which is why it's so difficult for the list that he plays, and why it's so unusual and bonkers that he gets so far with these things. Because, like I said before, he played Knights round 1. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what he can't? Do you know what he can't beat? And he managed to beat, Knights wreck him, man. What's he going to do? He's going to doom 1 every turn and pray the guy doesn't roll 4 up in Vulns. Because, of course, you put the doom on the thing, what are you going to do? Not shoot the one that's got doom? So, here's my CP, rotate every single time. Your entire play, your entire investment is like flagged from the start of your psychic phase.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just a really hard time. And he was sweating bullets in that game, apparently. He still got over the line, still got a great score as well. But that's because, do you know why I think that was though? He probably still would have won that game anyway on just about any mission. But the first mission of the day yesterday was a hold 2, 6 objective mission.
Right, that actually helps him a lot too. The thing is, before anybody in the chat says it too, because he has like 10 fusion pistols. I can tell you from experience, fusion is on the Harlequins is very inconsistent. Because you're talking about hitting 3 times and wounding on 4s, you're wounding maybe once or twice, and then they're likely to make the save. Like it doesn't work.
Exactly right, dude. It does not work like you hope it would. I unfortunately accidentally just closed the chat box there.
Oh no! I got it.
It's fine. I'll get it back in a sec. We should hit a transition though. We should go check it on a Necron game. As people have pointed out, this one is like it's in its death throes right now. And I suppose we don't need to give this a hell of a lot of time today. We can probably just check back this at the end of the game and see where things are at. So can we hit a transition, please, gents?
And
Richard,
go.
Hit transition, my good man.
It worked.
It did work. Wow, they listened to powers that be.
That's right.
Give us a call this game, mate. Let us know what's happened.
All right, let's have a see here. Oh, the Venoms are still up. They're still alive too. It looks like the Necrons have actually pushed up a little bit. For the Scarabs on the top have moved over to the objective where the Witches are on the top left. I think he's probably going to go for a charge there, try to, because the Scarabs do have a lot of attacks in close combat. They might be able to pick up those Witches in close combat too. I don't know what he plans on doing at all the Venoms in his back line though. There's a couple a couple of his resources went backwards. It looks like
Mhm.
I think those are the immortals in the back that got tied up by that venom there, and he's brought that character back to kind of help deal with that one. I don't see the scourge on the table yet. They might be in that bottom right, just a little bit out of reach there. Can't really see. Maybe they haven't. I don't know where they went,
Me
but
either.
well,
I got no
okay.
idea where the scourges
Like
are.
we're looking for the scourge production. Thank you. Uh, yeah, it looks he had to split up his units that were on that objective on his top right, but he still got a bunch of them on there. He can't move too far off it because he wants to make sure that he's overwhelming it, and he can't just kind of take it over from him with just sitting on it with his obsec. So he's
Mm,
put some resources that he has back into his back to try to deal with those stupid venoms in his backfield. I
mhm.
think those are Lich Guard at the top left that are going to charge the other one. So he's hoping for a lot of close combat to deal with what's running around back there. It's hard to tell because I don't know how many. I'm assuming most of these venoms still have their witches inside of them or incubi inside of them, but because if you look at the table right now, it doesn't look like the Drukhari have too much on the table, but it's because
Yeah.
most of it is still in transports, and I don't see the second raider either.
I still don't see the second radar, which leads me to believe that now it may have been destroyed turn one. Um,
Mm.
but I thought it would be in reserve, 100% be in reserve, because it is one of his while we
Yeah,
stands.
it is
And
well
I
where we
don't.
stand. So you
It,
did it too. It's not just to the last. See,
no, 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 no. Do you know what? I'm gonna. So the only significant changes, the only actual changes of relevance in that GT pack book were the changes to the names. Was Rod and to the last.
yeah.
Nothing
Oh,
else gave a crap.
yeah, we
Where
are
the
ready for
Scourges
where the
production.
scourges are.
Ha!
Oh no,
Ha!
they were
Ha!
forgotten. Oh no, that's
Nice.
the worst.
Can you check on the second raider for us as well? That'd be
Yeah, is the
fan
second.
freaking tastic,
Oh,
Bridget.
did he make?
Did you, if you forgot that, did
If
you
he
forget the raider
forgot
as
that
well?
too, that is devastating.
Yeah, because that's
That's
5 points off
that's
his top
5
score.
points, not to mention all the guys inside of it.
Mm. Looks like we're in the charge phase right now, but I thought we'd be in the moving phase. So I'm I'm gonna make a call right now that Marshall is doing exactly what Nathan wants him to do. Split
Mhm.
up his force to try and turn around and go clear off these venoms in the back line. When
Yeah.
I'm in my heart of hearts, I believe as soon as he jumps your lines, forget about it.
Yeah.
That secondary is dead to you.
Yeah.
Who cares? Ignore him. Push up. Go to the. So there are four objectives, yeah, in no man's land, and you can put like a quarter of your army on all of them and just drown him in obsec and just
Mhm.
win that primary,
Yeah.
stifle it. Nothing but
Exactly.
15s for you, nothing but a max of 10 for him, and make sure you max that primary. As it is right now, I think he's split and he's especially the Scorpec destroyers. Like Scorpec
Yeah.
destroyers just running in your
They're
back
they're
line,
they're
cleaning
running
up.
all over the back there where there's nothing.
Just
This is the thing, like because he's falling for the bait that the Drukhari are giving him right now.
they're out
Because
of
he,
dude. They're out of the game.
yeah, they're out of the game now. They're so slow, and you just all you need to do is put two
The
units back there, and now they're not going to do much. All he has to do is sit on those objectives.
yeah.
And is it? Did he forget it? Oh, it came off.
Oh,
Okay,
clever
so
sausage.
okay,
So
okay.
Raiders have the nifty trick of being you can place them back into strategic reserve after you deploy them. So yeah, he's got Drazar in that Raider, and they're off the table, and they'll be coming down like turn 4, turn 5. And yeah, he's going to keep those points pretty much. There's not much his opponent can do about it,
Yeah.
especially with the amount of zoning he's got. The only way he's going to put those Scorpex back into relevance later is if he uses the Veil on them, because right now
Which
they are
he can.
doing sweet nothing.
Yeah, he can use the veil. The problem is there's so much like zoning going out right now. Like his entire backfield is completely zoned out. He's got so many venoms out. Veil almost kills your unit at this point. Like there's not many places, if any, you can even go right now.
Yeah. So just to clarify, guys, his unit of 5 Scourge have been completely forgotten. They are counted as destroyed. But the Raider that has Drazar as his contest, that's 10 points. That's 2 of his while we stand with
Yeah,
fights, or to the last, whatever the hell you want to call it, off the table. They'll deployed on the table turn 1 and then put into strategic reserve from the table, so they can come back turn 4, turn 5.
yeah,
Really spicy play there, very clever, and a really great way to secure. You're going to leave the table with at least 10 points on that secondary.
yeah.
Um,
Exactly. That's the
I
10 free
really
points.
Yeah, dude, I really worry how thin Marshall has been spread. But look, none of his stuff's dead. Like none of his stuff is dead.
But that's the thing too, because he has so many things alive, he can just sit on like all three of his objectives, completely swarm them, and at least keep the primary even. You
Yeah,
have to give up on Purge the Vermin. It was a mistake to take it, and it's unfortunate, but it means that Nathan has to keep throwing these venoms out there, and you throwing your guys at those venoms behind your objectives is taking you out of position and giving him the opportunity to take those objectives away from you.
And by saying that, by doing that, by getting on all 4 of those objectives, you're denying herd the prey to him.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're gonna that's what I was getting at. You're gonna zero both of those. You're not gonna get it, but you're gonna stop him getting it. And then what's he gonna do? He's gonna get Octarius data. You're never gonna stop him getting that. And at least you're gonna be able to get the same Octarius data as well. So you're even Stevens on there, even Stevens on the donuts for herd the prey and purge the vermin. And then it's really just up to you whether you can win the primary. If you won the primary from that position, having neutralized both secondaries for each player, maybe you win this damn game or you get very close to winning it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because if you're denying his primary and you're also denying his secondary, you're completely obliterating the fact that he's denying you purge the vermin. So beating primary and secondary beats one secondary. That's math.
Yeah, exactly.
Basic math, right?
Yeah, spicy. Yeah, like I said, but what has he even lost? I think he's lost 1 unit of Scarabs, man.
I mean,
that's all I can see that's dead.
Yeah, he's not able to kill that much. Like that's the problem with this Drukhari into this specific Necron list, because there's so many 2-up saves, 4-up invulns. There's not much shooting, and you're relying on just volume of fire, which can work, but it's so risky to go in there because if you don't kill them, you die in return. So he can't commit too much to them. Even the Incubi, they can kill stuff. They absolutely can, but if they fail to, they're dead.
Yeah, exactly right. It's 6 wounds because their Exarch equivalent, whatever his name is, has 2 wounds, but they're toughness 3 with 3-up save. They die. They're sisters. They explode.
Yeah, they're power armor sisters. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to see the clock for these 2 gentlemen. It is on. Who's the clock on right now? 25 minutes left for one player, 18 minutes left for the other. It'd be interesting to see how much time we got left in the round. From that extrapolation, you can say there's about 43 minutes left.
25 minutes on the Necrons. Okay.
That makes sense to me. Of course, with how many moving parts this Drukhari army has, you assume they'd use more than a Necron army that literally doesn't have a shooting phase. So.
Oh, okay. So Nathan wants to clarify that he doesn't need the Scourges. So maybe they weren't forgotten. They were just like, you know what? I don't need them. They can take a break.
Oh dear me. Just a quick update from the Admech and Eldari game. So Admech turn 3, they get 5 on primary once again. Admech tried to fall back from combat against the Harlequins, and they used a 1 CP strat to pile back into them, denying the fallback. And that's the reason why I think you needed to use the Solar Flare on that unit.
Yep. Definitely. You called. That's exactly why I need to do it, because he could just keep tying them up. They didn't
have
enough movement away from them.
Exactly. As soon as the Harlequins got in, you're screwed. Beam them out, otherwise you're never going to get to use them.
Yeah, for sure.
And even then, it's a very bad value Solar Flare, but
what you need.
It's all gone to hell, mate. It's all gone to hell.
It's all gone to hell. Just try to get back on the road a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. 46-32. It's not a bad scoreline for Marshall so far. But the thing is, he's just not.
How's he going to get his Octarius now? I don't know if he can get any more Octarius.
That's right. Octarius is worrying me now because of all his immortals being tied up at the back of the board. What's he going to do? Use Lich Guard to do it? And you're just like, that's tragic. That is tragic.
But that's the only option at this point, because he can't Veil back there. He's like Nathan has perfectly zoned out the board with just some squiddly little squads. I don't know what squiddly means, but I just made up a word and everybody's going to use it now. But they're blocking out the entire backboard, so he can't Veil and do it either.
So this is something I see people do. Nathan's done this very well in this game. But see what he did. So the reason he put his Venoms out there, and the reason there's a Succubus in between those Venoms that didn't charge, is because he's just creating walls. He's creating walls for these slow 5-inch moving Lich Guard units to not be able to get around onto those objectives. Now you can do that in 2 ways, especially if your army is as quick as his. You can put up these walls like you can, or you just fade back to give them the max possible charge. And from where he was, those Lich Guard are on that objective, which means it was 10 inches between, so it's a minimum of 13 inches to get onto it's a minimum of 10 inches to get onto that objective, which means there's another 6 inches of distance between that edge and that edge. So if you're at the edge of your objective and they're only on theirs, it's a 16-inch charge. So it's 11-inch charge, once you take the 5 off. So you just do that, and you're doing the same thing without risking losing any units, which is what I thought he might want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now, the best thing that Marshall going to do into it is charge the Venoms and the Succubus to kill them, and then you get the extra movement to take over that objective. But then he's leaving his own objective open, where he already has all kinds of Venoms and Witches all on his back line too. He's getting spread really thin. Nathan's playing his list perfectly, spreading out all over the place and making sure that Marshall, in order to compete, has to either spread his forces or consolidate into one area.
Some people have raised some concerns regarding the stratagem Swift Outflank. Marcelo's asked, states the unit is placed into strategic reserves. Was there an FAQ allowing him to keep it off the table all game? And another gentleman's asked, what strat did you use to put the raid in reserve? The only strat that would prevent it from dying on turn 3 is Poisoned Tongue. I'm going to have a quick look at that strat if you want to keep talking, mate. I'll just give it a quick read over and see what we've got.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a good point. Because I know the Poison Tongue one is in the deployment phase, so it depends on when he did it. There is another one that brings them out if they're on the table edge and be able to bring them out. I think they have to come back the next turn, but I'm not 100% sure. So we'll get Camilleri to check that for us and see what.
I've got it right here. Once you appear, you use stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one Drakari transport unit from your army that is wholly within 9 of any battlefield edge. Remove that from the battlefield. The unit is placed into strategic reserve. So yeah, it's in strategic reserve, and I think if you placed in strategic reserve after turn 1, you just get to come back at the turn of your choice. And if you're not on at the end of turn 5, you're dead. But I could be wrong.
I can speak to that specifically because I am a GSC main, and we have the same thing. We have the lying in wait stratagem where we pull something out of a deployment zone. Ours was specifically fact to say it has to come in.
Yeah, just like guerrilla tactics.
Yes.
So, well, guerrilla tactics, you can leave them off all game. I can take my infiltrators off and put them back on turn 5.
Yeah, exactly. Ours specifically states that it has to actually come back in on turn 3. So I would extrapolate that because it wasn't fact. It currently doesn't work the same, so it can stay off.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how I interpret it. Just because I'm a GSC player, and yes, I am a little bitter about it, but here we are.
Classy Badger has asked, "Is Nathan going to take this with Eldari?" Man, he's in a good spot.
He's definitely in a good position.
5-0. He's going to get another nice chunky score out of this game, which means he's pretty much all but guaranteed. Unless he gets a big old donut in his next one, he's guaranteed to make the finals. And in all likelihood, he's probably going to go in undefeated. Being where he is. But dude, I've raised concerns because I really hope he plays this Drakari game because I'd like to see his brain power stretched.
You've already called it. You think he's going to have a lot of trouble against this list. And this Drakari list does look like it's going to be in the driver's seat right now. I don't know if Marshall can pull it back because that Purge of Vermin getting a 0 on that is going to hurt a lot.
Exactly right, dude. And on top of that, it looks like also Marshall's going to get Nathan's going to get a really big score. He's on track right now to get another, 10 for primary. He's just looked like he's picked up enough witches off the top left-hand squad that he's not going to hold that objective in. He's got 3 Canoptic units to only 2 witches there, unless they manage to kill one of the things back. But even then, he needs to kill 2 of them. 2 witches ain't killing 2 scarabs bases. So he's going to get a nice.
Especially when they're all dead.
Yeah, they're all freaking dead. So he's going to be getting a 10 on primary. He's only got 2 scarab bases in the bottom left-hand one, so those 2 scarabs need to pick up at least 2 of those witches in order to hold that one over him, which would put him down onto a 5 for primary. Not a bad plan. And these witches, these scarabs are punching up. They are doing a lot of work right now, and literally keeping him somewhat in the game, which is quite impressive.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Scarabs, too. Against something like witches who are not that durable in combat. Yeah, they have a 4-up invuln, but the Scarabs don't care too much. They don't have much AP, but they have a ton of attacks. So they can actually get through little things like that.
Exactly right. I've got a funny feeling these are incubi, because that is so many freaking dice.
That is a lot of dice.
Although, no, never mind.
No, they're too small.
Witches have so many attacks. I sometimes forget how many attacks witches have. They got a
witches
bajillion.
They have like 50 attacks each. It's pretty.
It's 50
pretty
attacks.
obnoxious.
Exactly right. 50 attacks.
It's pretty close. I mean, 49. Sorry.
Marcelo says, I feel like they're not giving Necron guy enough cred. Whatever. What are you going to do? But yeah, look, the only reason I say that is because I feel like he's playing into the Drakari player's hands. I feel like he's doing exactly what the Drakari player wants him to do. But look, maybe we're completely wrong. Maybe he pulls this thing out and slaps Adam in the face with a big old wet fist and say, hey, you're wrong. I knew what I was doing all the time. Look at this scoreboard. Because the fact of the matter is, Drakari player isn't killing anything. He hasn't removed any assets.
That's the thing too. And again, he's not playing it wrong. We're not saying he's not playing. He's playing poorly. He's playing well. It's just the fact that he has to split his forces in order to deal with what the Drakari player is playing. Now he is starting to get rid of a lot of those assets in the back line. It just the destroyers in the back line being almost out of the game is unfortunate. The Satan, I think, needs to start making some moves for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Important that the Satan is still here in turn 3. It means he's very unlikely to die in this game, which means he needs to get really relevant really quick. I'm gonna have a quick gaze at his his list to see what he's taken. I'm hoping he's taken the one that just beams out the mortal wounds. Like you pick 3 things within 24 and they all take D3 on a 4+. Because against this MSU army, that is just some primo goodness here. Let's have a quick look about. So he has got Sky Falling Stars, exactly what he needs to take. And Transdimensional Thunderbolt. And of course, he can swap those out for CP whenever he feels. Fish Face Frank would be nice to see Nathan's game. Would it really?
Would it really?
Would it really?
Do you want to see the table?
Do you see another man's blood that much? Do you need to see pain that much? We can give it to you, but you know, like this one's actually still in the balance, guys.
This one's not over. The other one,
the other one's is well and truly over.
Let's take a peek. Sorry, you guys want to see it? We'll give you a quick peek. Here you go.
Yeah, we'll give you a peek. We'll go for a minute or two.
There we go.
All right. He did beam out. He beamed out, guys. Bam. He saw the play, beamed out into the top, exactly where I thought he needed to go, and looks like he has cleared his lines somewhat. The upper unit of Shadow Spectres is reduced down to 1 guy. The large unit of Shadow Spectres that was streaming out into the middle of the board as a bit of a denial piece for exactly this play is also been depleted as well. Looks like we've just got a couple of Harlequins governing that middle terrain piece. It looks like they're in combat with a character. Just going to go to our update man on the ground who hasn't updated from the fact that they couldn't fall back. Possibly because he heard us just say, it's cooked. No problems.
Yeah, that's fair. But you can see now. You can see what's left on the AdMech side.
Exactly right. Look, he's using that disintegrator now. It's picked out to the bottom. That Skyweaver that was down there has been popped. It looks like the contents have got maybe 1 guy remaining from there. Look, and I thought this was what he was able to do. You still need to respect AdMech, guys. They can still clear their lines. He has cleared his lines with the exception of a couple of Harlequins. He's pretty much killed everything he needed to kill. So well done to him. Unfortunately, those Harlequins are alive. They did just kill that character in retaliation. They're going to spread out and they're going to take his home objective and deny him some more primary. What are you seeing, mate? Give us an update on the scoreboard as well.
Let's see what we're looking at here. So Sean is at 15 primary right now. I don't think they just haven't added up no prisoners because he has definitely got at least 6 or 7 points on no prisoners with the amount of Rangers and Vanguard that have died. So we're assuming that hasn't been added into it yet. So I'd say whatever he has right now, add 8 to it at least.
Minimum, yeah.
Minimum, yeah. And he has 5 engaged on all fronts and 4 retrieve arterials data. So that makes sense for now. He should be able to get another one pretty soon as well. So he's got a total of 34. Again, probably 42, maybe a bit more, depending on what the no prisoners is actually at right now. And Brad hasn't got any eradication of flesh, which actually surprises me. I don't know what if Sean killed any vehicles on the first turn. I thought he didn't kill any. Yeah, so surprised that he didn't get any eradication. Did not finish off any infantry units, maybe? That's, I guess, I guess not. He killed the Starweaver and just only some of the Spectres. Maybe he was hoping to kill them, so that might actually be why. So he also has the 4 Retrieve Arterius data, which again is probably going to be the max because Sean has also gotten rid of his backfield. The Solar Flare has been burned, so I don't think he has any other option to really get any more points of the Retrieve Arterius data, as well as engage on fronts. He is at 2 points, so total of 31 in total with the battle ready. The engage on fronts and retrieve, I think, are pretty much maxed out at this point. So it's not looking good for Brad. And the eradication of flesh, he only has 1 vehicle left, and once he loses that, he cannot score that secondary anymore.
Exactly right. So yeah, of course, another thing to point out is that other Battlestar did get picked up somewhere somehow. And look, in all likelihood, Brad is on the cusp of being wiped at the end of Sean's next turn. None of Sean's damage dealing ability, his castle, his DPS output has been reduced, which leaves me with the opinion that every infantry model will be picked up in very short order. It remains to be seen whether he gets enough. He hasn't got any fusions really left to go back and get that, so he has to pop that disintegrator either in melee with his troop master if he still is breathing, or with like strength 6 no rend guns, which is very unlikely to kill a disintegrator. So possibly he has a disintegrator going into his turn.
Well, it looks like they're calling the game now. They have talk about.
Looks like we're going to have a concession at this point. It's no real surprise with Brad being forced to use the Solar Flare and not put it on a way to get points. And going into his turn, he did manage to clear his lines with the exception of those Harlequin units. Everything's dead. So he did a good job there, but the problem is it's too little, too late. I think.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this right now. He had 2 units. He had 2 units of 2 units of Rangers going into the start of this turn. One was in combat with the Harlequins, and the other one was the unit that was behind everybody else. And I'm really interested to know what happened to that other unit. It looks like it just got eaten by the Harlequins.
Yeah, I think it did get eaten by the Harlequins.
Well, what I'm assuming happened is we didn't actually find out how much died from that Harlequin charge. I'm assuming they went down to a handful of guys, and he's like, there's no point beaming this unit out anymore. And so he beamed out the back unit to get the line of sight to clear those objectives. And that makes a lot of sense to me. Look, he only had like 4 or 5 Harlequins going, but one of those was a Fangmaster in addition. They could easily account for 10, maybe 15 of those ranges and leave you with not enough left to bother with. Looks
Yeah,
like he's still got a Skitarii Marshal sitting on his home objective, 1 Disintegrator, 2 or 3 Rust Stalkers, and yeah, maybe a 14, 15 man unit of Rangers. That is all going to be picked up this turn, with the exception of Disintegrator.
For sure. Like the Fangmaster, because he's -3, means, and he's rerolling all wounds, means anything he's fighting in all the ignore AP 1 and 2, the get an extra save if it's only 1 damage, and transhuman, none of it matters to the Fangmaster. He's picking up 10 guys.
Exactly right. Apparently Mr. Lennon is struggling a little bit with the Knights. I will tell you right now, I did think that was a possibility because Mr. Lennon has dropped a lot of his multi-melter anti-tank assets for anti-infantry things, for killing things like Rangers and etc. etc. This is an okay game for the Knights, being a hold 1 and being a lot of objectives. He's very able to get 10 points on primary pretty reliably, and some of the ways and means that John had to kill big Knights in one go are not in this list. Like I said, he's got 2 multi-melters, 2 heavy flamers in all of his Retributor squads, rather than the 4 multi-melters that you usually see.
Yeah, that actually is interesting to see. I'm curious to see if he can actually pull that out, because seeing Knights beat the sisters, and not only sisters but Lennon's sisters, that's huge.
Huge, man.
Especially
huge.
if he's going to go up against Naden, because we were just saying that Naden would struggle against those. Like, he actually has trouble with Knights with that list.
Yeah, exactly right, dude. So there could be 2 really bad lists for Naden coming up in his future. And I wonder what the next... I'm just going to have a quick look into the future and see what the next mission is. Next mission is Scorched Earth. And we'll have a quick read of that one, because if that is another hold... If that is a hold 2, then I think Naden just skates right past
Scorched Earth
the Knights.
Is hold 1.
Yeah, it's hold 1. That's quite good for the Knights.
Yeah, that is
because
very
they're
good.
all the objectives are outside your deployment zone. So that Knight list wants to push hard, and it can get primary in the whilst doing so.
Yeah, that Knight list is actually gonna be in good shape if it can pull through with this and go 5-0. It could pull out a 6-0. We could see Knights, undefeated Knights for day 3.
Knights hitting T-Whip would be phenomenal. But dude has to get past Lennon, and we've seen Lennon. Like, do you remember the last time Lennon said he was in a close game?
Yeah, that's true.
He won by like 45 points. So, this could just all be, smoke and mirrors.
I mean, it could be smoke and mirrors. He could just be being polite and saying, "Oh man, I'm struggling," even though he's like winning 80-40 or something. You don't know.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. And look, Sisters are like the second best army for playing the mission. Like,
for sure.
Behind Drakari, they're the second best. They're phenomenal. And he has dude, I can't see him with that Battle Sanctum on this mission. He's just going to get so much value, man.
Yeah, that fortification is ridiculous, and I love that's the other reason I love the fact that we're doing the player-based terrain, because it actually means we can take fortifications, and some fortifications are 100% worth taking.
Yeah, exactly right. Jish, yeah, sure. I'm going to tell him his list is bad, and he should feel bad.
Yeah, we should make sure.
Chuck him on.
No, Australia's still here. We're just that's just an awkward.
I thought we were going to have Naden right now. Are you just going to drag him off? Easy. I thought you had it for him right now. Never mind. So looking at the Venoms in the back line, see all the Venoms that were creating those screens between the 2 sets of objectives, they've all jumped behind. So now all the things that he spent his back line clearing up, because he did a good job of clearing his back line that turn, he's just hit refresh on on his frustration pieces. 4 more Venoms full of witches have just jumped his lines again. And this is the thing. Once you get stuck in your back line, he can just keep you there. So don't let him stick you there. Look, it still might be playing directly into what Marshall wants to do, but at the same time, I think this is what Nathan wants above all else.
Yeah, definitely. He just keeps, like you say, he hits the refresh button every turn to just make sure there's more stuff in his back line, denying that secondary. And it's not costing that much. Like, it's 75 points for each of these things. Even if guys are inside, they just pop out. There's more things you got to deal with. And as we were saying before, because he doesn't have a lot of shooting on the Necron side, it's a lot harder to get both the Venom and the guys inside. Like, you have to charge to do most of your damage. And if you charge the transport, the guys inside just get out.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. It's just actually looking like a spicy game.
This is very spicy.
And look, I wish we had some more points updates. I'd really love to know what the Necrons were able to accomplish in their turn. Looks like they're going to be possibly getting some 15s from now on. Although I haven't seen any Incubi make contact yet. which
Yeah, I
leads me
saw
to
some
believe.
in the bottom left a little bit. It looked like they were being taken off, like they were dead. So I don't
Okay,
know where they
okay, cool,
died,
cool.
or if it was like maybe the back line somewhere.
Mm,
The thing is, too, the Necrons are still like they're still very much in this game. What's gonna hurt them is the difference between Purge the Vermin and To the Last. That's
yeah.
where the
Yep.
difference is coming
Yep.
in.
Because whatever you're looking at right now for Nathan, unless that Raider dies at the back, and I'm of the opinion it's not going to even it's
Yeah.
paint scratch this game. He's sitting on plus 15 points or wherever he is now. He's sitting
Mhm.
on 61. He's not on 46. 61 to 32. He's almost doubled Marshall. Mind you, Marshall has a whole ton of primary scoring that we haven't seen yet, which should be another comfortable 10.
Mhm.
So Marshall could easily be on another 10 for primary, so up to 25, a 6 for grind them down for another turn of that. Octavius Data, I don't know where he's getting another Octavius Data from.
No, that's what I think we were saying before. Like the Lich Guard are the only ones that could potentially do it, and they have to start moving up now. So I think at best he might be able to get an 8 from it, but it's unlikely he'd be able
And
to.
Purge's Vermin is sitting at a fat donut, and it's going to sit at a fat donut rest of this game.
Mhm.
Whereas his opponent is looking like he's going to max Herd the Prey.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
so what's going to happen now? All he needs to do is just kill both these units of Scarabs, which he wants to do because both units of Scarabs are on his objectives, and bada bing, bada boom, another 4 points.
Yeah, that's actually a big deal too. The thing is too, there's not too much more that Marshall could start pushing, because he has to still hold his back objectives. He can't pull anything off. Now, I don't know if there's anything in those venoms. It looks like 5 witches got out on the bottom side of the top venom there, and a couple more went backwards to make sure that back objective is secured as well, to kill the Scarabs and take that objective away from him. So I can't imagine there's too much left in the venoms now, and I think Marshall's starting to feel sad about not having a lot of little guns right now to kind of clear off a lot of the little infantry on here, because that's the main reason. And Nathan's taking full advantage of the fact that he doesn't have those little guns, because he can have all these little troops T3 with like 6 sub saves and just stay in the open because there's nothing to deal with them.
Yep, exactly right. I'm really interested to see that he hasn't. What I thought I was going to say, what we even called what we're possibly going to say, 3 units of Incubi and like 2 Succubuses just dump onto one of these home objectives for the Necrons, and just kill 10 Lich Guard, kill a character or 2, kill some stuff, and then all of a sudden he's all spread out, doesn't have enough concentrated oomph to go back and respond because he's too far away, and the game is just over. So Marshall is taking a much more methodical approach here, but at the same point, he is bleeding out resources without removing any of his opponents.
And that's the thing too. Like, he needs this game to end because
that's right.
He's pulling ahead and he's staying ahead, but he's not going to be able to do it forever. Like, the Necrons are outlasting them hard.
Yeah, I'd love to get can you see what's on the clock?
It looks like it's 11 minutes for the Necrons and 12 minutes for the Drukhari.
We're getting close. We got so 20 minutes left in the round as well. So 18 minutes left in the round, I believe, to my clock. But they did start a little bit late, so probably going to be going over somewhat. Yeah, yikes! This is going to be good. Going to be good, guys.
Close. It's very close. The Necrons can still pull this out. Don't count them out. And here he's moving up. He's moving up to try and deal with this.
Yeah, so he's ignoring the freaking Raiders, so the Venom's behind him. Good choice, mate. Get out of there.
That is exactly what you need to do.
Because that's what he wants you to do. He put him there for a reason. He's put him there to be annoying. Now, but the reason I think this might be cooked for Marshall, and giving him full props for playing this game quite solidly so far, is the fact that To the Last is just going to the fact that he's going to get a 0 on one of his scores, and To the Last is going to get a max score. I think that's what's going to blow him out of the water, unfortunately.
That's the problem. That's what I was saying too, because that To the Last, it's 15 points, and there's nothing that Marshall could do. And it's not that he didn't play anything wrong. It's just Nathan did exactly what he needed to do to get those 15 points and make sure whatever happens, this secondary is getting maxed out. There's nothing to stop it.
Agreed. Interesting to see. I think this is turn 4. I think this is the bottom of 4, possibly.
I think so, because the Drukhari went first, right? That's what we.
Yeah, Drukhari went first, and they got
this got to be bottom of 4.
Yeah, I think so. I think they only got a 5 or a 10 on their last primary as well. So this could be the end of 3 though.
Oh, that's true.
Because we've only had 2 rounds of Herd the Prey. He's had 4 and 4 for Herd the Prey.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
this is bottom of 3. Yeah.
Ooh, they gotta pick it up here, guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we do.
The Drukhari want this to end, but the Necrons don't.
That's right. The Necron's like, we need 5 turns. 5 turns for the love of God, please. And the Drukhari players just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. I'm probably up either way. Yeah, dude. Because everything Necron players' army is OBSEC, and the fact is, as long as he stays in his boats, there's very little OBSEC on the table for the Drukhari. So that's one way of making him want to get out of his boats, is by saying, well, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to kill your Venoms. And I'm just going to hold these objectives. Too bad, brother. You have to get out, and you have to do half my work for me, half my job for me. And if you can put enough pressure on that way, you can start demeching them by sheer dint of pressure.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think he still has, like, Necro still have enough resources to start pushing into his back line. I think that's what he has to do, because there's not many, especially if that's the Tan and can kill those witches back there. He does not going to have any obsec in his back line, which means he can just sit 1 or 2 units on there, and the Venoms won't be able to clear them that easily at all. And he can still own those objectives while taking his.
Agreed, man. Agreed. And yeah, look, these Scorpec destroyers are probably going to end up getting their points back by sheer dint of by the end of the game, they've killed like 4 Venoms.
Those Venoms, they flew too close to the sun, and the sun being the Scorpec destroyers right now.
Just meat grinding Venoms.
Yeah.
Really, really funny. We got Naden. How are we looking on that front, Matt? Apparently we're getting him.
Well, we're getting Naden for an interview here.
Beautiful. I'll throw up some questions for Naden in the chat if you want me to ask him anything. And I'm pretty loose. If you put up some silly stuff, I'll probably ask him.
Or I'll do it. He doesn't know me, so.
No, it's true. You don't have a reputation to foil yet with the gent. What would it? I want to ask him what it would take to cut his hair.
Ooh, that's always a rough question. Some people are very protective of it. Some are like, I'm just too lazy to cut it. If you pay for it, I'll get a cut.
Are you very protective of yours?
Yes, I am very. I'm very protective of it. It's in a pillowcase up in the bedroom.
For those of you who don't know what Dustin looks like, bit of an eggshell.
Bit of an eggshell, yeah. I made sure I was nice and clean shaven for this event too, because I don't want to have any kind of stubble up there.
Love it. Thank you. Appreciate that. I had my dude. We are in lockdown at the moment in Victoria, where I reside, because we've had a bit of a Delta outbreak, and I had to get my brother to give me a haircut, and I was like, I told Paul Murphy that if you watch the coverage and you see me wearing a hat, the haircut didn't go very well. And not to ask any questions. He did a great job, by the way. He did a very good job.
Yeah, it looks good. So I think
it's impressed.
My wife always cuts her own hair now, and then she goes to the hairdresser because she regrets it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I cut my own hair for years. I just shaved my head for years because I couldn't do stuff with it.
That's what I do. I just shave my own head. I can't be bothered. Pay somebody $20 to cut my hair for me when I can just do it myself in the shower. I do it blind now. Exactly I don't even need to look anymore. I just know what I'm doing.
Just knows his own head, guys.
I can feel it
out. Does he have any thoughts? Like the questions, guys.
Yeah, all right.
Like the questions. I'm just going to have to copy paste some of these so we don't lose them, because the restream we've got actually, I can't scroll down it. We just get what we get. Looks like we're testing some stuff, some audio issues maybe bumping around. But we're looking like we're in the charge phase for the Necrons. They have charged onto both of the Drukhari side middle objectives, and looks like he's somewhat given up the top right-hand corner one. Looks like he's still holding the bottom right-hand corner one pretty successfully. The Scorpios have gone into both of those Venoms and should pick up both in pretty short order. Looks like they've got enough bodies in the way that he won't be able to do an emergency disembark onto that bottom right objective either. So he's doing the right things. He's getting that primary tick in his way.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do. As long as he has the time to do it, he could pull this out, because he's going to lose on the secondary over to the last, but he could win on primary, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah, totally fair enough. Neil has stated Sheen won't need to cut his hair soon, given how thin he's getting on top, and no one notices because he's 12 foot tall. Oh man, how did you notice? Neil?
Wait a minute,
questions. Yeah. You're like 5'7".
That's got to be seeing like bending. Maybe he's bending over on camera so we can see the top of his head that way. Maybe that's where he's picking it off. But I definitely haven't seen it.
I can hear you, Val.
We can hear you. All right, perfect. So let's see what the Necron Army is able to do here. If he's kicking him out both objectives and putting him down to a 5 on primary, and he's still going to be holding his back objectives, because there's no that Satan looks like it cleared off those witches. There's no obstacle back there in the Drukhari. He could be pulling away with primary on this one.
Well, this was the risk of what happened if he starts bleeding out. When he doesn't have an investment or actually remove any of his opponent's stuff, this gets ground down. We're going to be doing a screen test now. We might be transitioning over to the interview. Looks like we've got Mr. Heifer Finger.
Can you guys hear the old Hef live
we can
to
hear
air
the old Hef
on the internet? You can. And the producer can, which means we can get some sideline interviews going,
apparently
guys.
We can't hear Val. No, we cannot hear Val.
Can't hear Val. They cannot hear Val.
Can't hear Val. You got to turn it on in the thingy, mabobber. Are we turned on now?
What about now, guys?
Chat.
We
We
can
can?
now, yes.
We got you. We got you.
So there could be some comedy here because we have a very short cable. We're learning a lot this weekend, folks. So we got a really short cable here. Nathan, very tall
Whoa.
man. So therefore, you might see a camera fall over. We haven't done that yet. Could be exciting. Let's give it a try. Let's see if we can knock a camera over.
If you have
All
that
right,
on
no
your
problem.
bingo cards, you are in luck. We'll wait and see.
I just want to have an interview
Oh
with
man,
Sean
there's been
Naiden's
so
chin.
many
That's what I'm looking
bingos
for.
so far. If you guys had Val trips over a cable and unplugs the stream on your bingo card, you made some money yesterday.
Everybody has
all
it.
right, let's go. Let's go get someone cooler than me.
We have seen one Venom in the top right-hand corner picked up by the Scorched. Looks like we're rolling out dice for the other one right now.
The Drukhari are bleeding out.
They are bleeding out hard,
They're
man.
bleeding hard. The time's running out, though. The Necron needs the time to finish his last turn.
Well,
so
looks like looks like one of them's on sub 4, is on 4 minutes. The other one's on 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Really tight.
It's gonna
Where
be
is
close.
this guy? Where is
This
this
is actually
tall...
a close game. Where is this tall guy? Is he so tall that the camera just isn't even? It's only picking up his
Yeah.
feet.
Can't even register him.
Nope. Back to the dice box. Okay.
Back to the dice box.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear us, Sean?
Oh, I hear the dulcet tones of one Alan Bajarovich.
Oh, Jesus. How you doing, brother? Yes, it is Adam Camilleri and Dustin Henshaw. Man, good to see you, baby. How are you enjoying the event?
Dude, do you see this venue? You see these 30-foot, 57-foot ceilings of Texas?
It's a monster.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
it's
monster.
pretty huge.
The concrete floors, are hard on my old bones, but we get through it.
How are you enjoying the event so far? How do you feel about your run?
Doing pretty good. I had a tough one yesterday with a quirky ad mech list. I was more teched for like standard, and then
Yes.
a key feature that players have had. I misplayed priority objectives yesterday and didn't set it in the right spot so I could protect it with terrain. So that was a big factor in that game, keeping it Cooper close. But then since then, I took that pain out on 2 people, and then I haven't had good dice all weekend. I just had great dice versus fucking Brad. Just fucking so good.
Hey, family friendly, you ruffian. Calm your farm. No, that's fair. The Shadow Spectres, dude, when I saw your list, I was like, wow, this guy wants to see as many 20-man blocks as he can of those,
As many
Rangers of those Vanguard.
I have 25 East weapons in my list. 11 of them are indirect, and 14 of them are Shadow Spectres.
So I made a call that you were going to hope to do some Auspex scanning with those Shadow Spectres. Have you pulled one off yet?
God no, because you know what I love to do? I love to spend 7 CP on my Troop Master, 5, 6, 7 CP on Troop Master for a fight twice, buy a lot of combat. Flashy shit.
Of course.
Have you got any questions, Dustin? What do you think?
We got some of the questions in the chat that we can go for if you want to answer some of the questions for you. Are there any of the lists that you're worried about facing right now? Some of the the Drukhari list that's all MSU, witches, incubi. Or anything you are a little worried to face the next rounds come?
That the MSU Drukhari list is interesting. He and I have talked a bunch at some of these Texas events. Great guy, and if he goes first against me, is basically his only chance. Otherwise, he's going to lose. That's what his expectation is. That's my expectation. Because if he just bull rushes me and witches get into combat, I can't kill it all instantly. But if I get to go first, he's going to lose a bunch of them, and then he's going to have to take 2 rounds of shooting, and I don't think he can stand up to that. My list puts out an oppressive amount of shots.
And the Venoms. Yeah, and you just wound Venoms on 3 with 2 damage shots, and their saves are going to be garbage. But yeah, if he does go first, those 18 just with Venoms, he can just tap all your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big problem for me for sure. And this next battle is pitch battle, so that's a little hairy as well because you can get close really quickly. I'm hoping that maybe we'll see. I'd rather play like McDade's Admech I
Yes.
think that's
Dude.
a super easy matchup.
Oh,
for me.
I look at your advert versus McDade, and I'm like, that's exactly what he wants. Well, your lineup versus Mr. Townsend was just like your bread and butter. Yeah, that's literally why you wrote your list. Yeah.
Yeah, Townsend's list is a little better because he does have those 2 indirect tanks. He misplayed his deployment with them and kept them too far back, and because I paid the extra, I paid the extra Exarch power to give my Dark Reaper Exarchs and their unit the 6-inch extra range, which means I'm 42, so I can sit back a lot further.
Just validating all the
terrain.
Just look at this man just sitting here validating all the dumb crap I spew out during a call.
It's true. It must make you feel really good about being right about everything, Adam. It's perfect, man. it's good feels, man.
I mean, I'm not perfect. I forgot to click the button and give my Swooping Hawks and Exarch. So I'm playing down a wound and down some extra powers to that unit. But yeah.
My man, who's your biggest MVP and who's your biggest head scratcher? Is there a unit in your army you're wondering why you took him and you wish there was something else? And is there a unit that you're just like, my dear God, why is no one else playing this?
No, I don't know. I mean, so my thing was early in ninth, I thought Harlequins were impressive. I think their strats are the best strats in the game. They can do so many funky ass shit. I stopped playing them because they were like so popular at the start of eighth, and then start of ninth, and so I went away from them and started my Drukhari before the Codex came out, and then now people are complaining about them. I'm like, sure, I'll go back to my Harlequins. They're way, way better in a mixed list for sure, because pure Drukhari gain a lot more than the mixed Drukhari. But I'm like, my Troop Master can come, with the Meltas, the precision, the speed. They're definitely my MVPs. The Harlequins are just carrying a bunch of shit.
Wonderful.
And then, I mean, the rest of it is just law averages. The Eldar on my list is just law of averages. I reroll basically everything. I'm rerolling ones from my Autarch, so all my indirect stuff is like reroll 1s and 1/2 every time they fire because of expert crafters. Do effective targets.
Craft is still broke. Yeah, correct.
Oh yeah, it's still so good.
Yeah,
I'm curious, Sean, of how you've been feeling about the player place terrain at this event, because I actually really like this pack, and I'm curious about what
I really like it.
Yeah, you like it? Oh, good. That makes me feel.
I love it.
Is there anything that you would change about it? Like, are the rules set for it to be set up? Does it work for you?
I mean, it works for me. I think it takes a lot of the pressure off the TOs from the terrain perspective. It helps, like, if the players are upset about where the terrain was, it's their fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. It puts a lot of it actually makes the first roll to pick the side. It makes it important, so you can actually manipulate the terrain to kind of either screw one side of it and hope for a good roll, or try to keep it even. So I like the extra added strategy to it too. Is that
no? I mean, it's not that way. You actually know what side you're on. You set up your own side.
You know the side first.
Yep.
Okay.
Question for you.
It's a little bit of change from the base rules.
Have you looked much into the future, and do you think this list you're playing right now survives changes to the meta coming with Orcs?
I mean, blast weapons, Orcs don't like them, right? I don't know, but like, I think Orcs. We'll have to see what comes out and what rises up. That's always the thing. We'll have to see if all the AdMech players pay the extra 2 points per model to be immune to blast and that kind of thing. If that forces a change, if it forces them. I mean, I think campaign books are trash to begin with. Like, we should probably not have used them in competitive play. But especially day one, after like a month after your Codex comes out, like give us that like 8 months later when like our book needs a buff. But like with Dark Eldar and AdMech, we've both seen it just like adding buffs that aren't needed.
Agreed. It's interesting you pointed out the buff to the Vanguard to make them immune to blast, because I thought that was going to be if people were genuinely worried about you moving forward, like Townsend comes back and he's like, well, I don't want to drop a AdMech because they are amazing, so I guess I'm just only taking Vanguard now, veteran Vanguard. Where does your list pivot to if that meta becomes really strong?
I never know. It'll be like
play it by ear.
I'll just have to play it by ear, see if it matters that much, or if you can still just like pound somebody.
How long did it take you to write this list, and how many practice games did you get beforehand? Because I'm guessing it's going to be very few and not that long.
So after ACO is actually in all of 9. This last month and a half has been the least 40K I've played in the last year or so. Like I had a paint commission I needed to finish, so it took some of my days that would have been free to play and spent more time painting for that stuff. This actual list, I had played 0 games before this event. I played some facsimile of a halfway point that was like Drukhari, Harlequins, and it was Drukhari, Harlequins, and the first test of the Shadow Specters, just to see if I liked them at an RTT maybe a month ago, so 3 games.
Yep.
With like not even this version of the list.
Yeah, there you go. We're actually going to wrap it up at this point. Sorry, my man. I'm going to let you go. Enjoy your break. Have a rest. You could possibly have some very hard games coming up. We're going to come back. We're going to call this last game for the Drukhari versus Necron stuff. Dude, good luck to you. You are, waving the flag high for all the off-meta, counter-meta players out there, as is like your literal mantra. You're like, if there was a mascot for that, it would be you.
Well, thanks, guys. Always happy to try and do my best.
Thanks,
we're looking forward to see what you do.
Dude, see you in the finals, mate. It's going to be very hard to knock you out now. Take care, brother. We have had the sorry, Dustin, take it away.
So 74-89 for the Drukhari is the final score.
And look at that table. There's barely any of them.
There are no Drukhari on the table. Now, mind you, probably took off that Raider because they're packing up now, but still, the Necrons were trying to pull it back. They just didn't have enough time. Like they needed another turn to be able to do it.
Well, if you look at the difference in score, what is it? So we got 14 points different in score.
74-89, 15.
15 points. And guess what? He got a big old donut on one of his secondaries.
And they got 15 onto the last, likely. So
yeah. So that was the difference.
That was the difference. We called it.
We called it. We're like,
do you ever get sick of being right all the time, Adam? I'm curious. I feel like this is something you might get tired of a little. Just knowing the future.
Sometimes. Anybody who wants to watch our game yesterday when I thought Grey Knights were going to beat AdMech, I was so freaking happy. Anything that changes the status quo is just like, oh my God, just like this beautifully refreshing lemonade, like, hot day, perfection. And you're just delicious. Like, yes, wash over me. But yeah, look. Pretty much what we thought was going to happen. But damn, look how freaking close Marshall got, dude. He's still in the running, man. He's still in the freaking running.
He's absolutely right. He could be in the top 8. He could be day 3 for sure. Like he was high scoring. It was a loss, but he did exactly what he needed to do, and he kept the score high. He kept it close. That was exactly what he needed to do. This is perfect for him. And now maybe because he took a loss on it, he might get a matchup that's a little bit more favorable to him. So maybe he can get another high scoring win, and then we'll see if we see him tomorrow.
Just for Tanner Herbert, I'm going to say Squig Buggy Meta, because he wanted me to say that to Sean Naden. I missed it because I was too busy just saying silly crap to him. Anyway, dude, guys, that's the end of this round for us. We're gonna switch, and hopefully we'll get a transition over to our leaderboard if we can get that lined up in production. We'll quickly run down the leaderboard as it stands right now. We'll take a break while we can, and then we'll be back for round 6, guys, and we'll be able to see our finalists coalesce. Let's have a quick look at what we have, because man, it's still all to play for. Have we seen any other scores come through? And we able to get an update on how Lennon's doing? If that's
how's the Lennon game going? I'm curious to see if he was able to pull it out, if he was just blowing smoke or being polite.
Dude, unless something drastic happens, it's Naden versus Fennel. And it does look like John has won. John has won his game. He got an 84.
Okay.
So right now, as it sits right now, we have Sean Naden with Mixed Eldari in pole position, top spot. Next, we have Nathan Fennel in the second with Drukhari. So we'll just give our production. We've made the production team make it.
We're back. Can you hear us now? Perfect. All right. So we've got Sean Naden number 1 right now with 462 battle points. He has been crushing it every single round. He did say he had a rough matchup as one of the kind of off kilter AdMech list, but
it was the flyer MSU biz. That, had like 3-3 Raiders, 3-5 Rustalkers, all that jank. No 20-mans, 0 20-mans. So he was just like, I guess I have to scratch and claw this one out, and he did.
He did it. And then we have Nathan Fennell, the Drakari we just saw with in number 2 right now with 443 battle points. The only reason he's not even like higher than Nate is because his first win was only 68. He's been getting 97, 92, 97, and 89 and all those other ones. He's getting a lot of points. And that is exactly what that list does to the MSU Fast Venom with all kinds of OBSEC, which is everywhere, the close combat. It gets points. It gets board control. It does everything he needs it to do. But we are going to get to see that match that you wanted to see between Nate and Fennell.
Yeah, we are, man.
We are going to get to see it. And I am so happy. Like this is a great day to be casting because now we're going to get to see that match we want to see between Nathan and Fennell. And then we're going to get to see number 3 and number 4, which is Colin McDade with his Cult Mechanicus coming in at 438 points, crushing every single one of his games. The only one he didn't get a big win on is his 4th game. It's 62, but again, 99, 95, 85, 97 of the other one. So he's been crushing it too. And he's going to be playing the infamous John Lennon and his Sisters of Battle with 436 battle points. And those are the 2 games we're going to get to cast next. How exciting is that?
Oh, that's going to be fan-freaking-tastic. And I'm happy to say only one of those is AdMech, but those do represent the 3 best armies in the game. Sean Lennon. Sorry, Sean Lennon. What is that?
Sean Lennon. Whoa, that's scary.
Sure.
Let's not go there.
They fusion. Yeah.
They fusion. We're still doing that. Don't worry. We're still doing that.
No. Yeah. So Naden represents the only wonky list in that top 4. Drakari, probably second best army in the game. AdMech, best army in the game. And Sisters, easily the 3rd best army in the game. But the rest of the top 10 looks like Matthew Gaia. He's our only undefeated player. We have 5 undefeated right now. 2 of those being AdMech, 1 Drakari, 1 Sisters, 1 Mist Eldari. And he's playing Cult Mechanics. He's going to be playing down. He's the lucky sausage who's playing down into Johnny Velasquez, which is a Death Guard player. He's sitting on 4 and 1 in our 6th position. Our 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th is John Camacho with Mixed Imperium, which I believe is actually true Mixed Imperium. I'm just going to double check right now because one of these guys who had listed as Mixed Imperium was in fact just mono AdMech.
I actually do want to point out too that Joni, the one with the only lost, he has 452 points. He's only below Sean Naden in battle points.
Yeah, exactly right, dude. He's Custodes and Scions. He's playing the 4 Dreadnought Custode list with all the MSU Scions around it. I want to see that game. Let's hope he wins another round so we can get him on some of these top tables.
That'd be great.
So then we have the rest of the top 10. We have Oliver Smith with White Scars doing really well. We called one of his game before. He has the 25 Vanguard veterans and the 3 Volkai Contemptors. Then we have Marshall Peterson, who we did just saw take an L, but it was a 74-point L. So that guy is sitting in our 9th position.
He's still in the top. He's in contention for tomorrow. That's where you want to see him.
Absolutely. Matthew Bombard is the last of our top 10 with Adeptus Sororitas, that being Sisters. And dude, but I need to tell you about one more. Because the dream is still alive, everybody.
I know why you want to do this.
Is in 11th place.
It is only the Stompa here. The Stompa is here. That 1 L. Oh, hey, the Stompa could be here tomorrow. It could be. It can happen. It can happen.
What a world. The dream is still alive, guys.
The dream is still alive, guys.
Don't just chill for this round. Just take it easy. Just have a rest right now. We want to see you day 3. Yeah. We are going to sign out, guys. We're going to take a rest while we can as well. We'll see you back for round 6. We'll be calling the top tables and we'll be trying to get rolling scores for all those other top boys as well. And